watch my back, I know the game. I learned the system. You wrote all the rules, now watch how I twist them. You ain't on my heart, you in my account. Every move that you made came back in amount. Don't mean to grandstand, but I got bands on bands. You'll never catch this bitch crying over a man. Palm trees get me high.
Thank you, 3 pips, 300 J's, and 100 comments is amazing. Trying to get other people in here. I always have a slow start. I love you too. Welcome in, welcome in. Tap the screen, share the live, do the good stuff. I'm sharing it out myself.
Sometimes the world can be a cruel place, and everything feels too hard to face. Sometimes this life is just too much. Deadlines, bills, and a world out of touch. We all could use some good advice, some words of hope when the days ain't nice. A little laughter, a listening ear, words of praise and good cheer. Somewhere that feels familiar and safe. With open arms and a warm embrace. Auntie's here. Come on in, sugar. Sit right down. Auntie's here, so lose that frown. He's gonna help you make it through.
With a cup of kindness and a word or two. Let it out, sugar, if you need to cry. She's got your favorite snack and a lullaby.
Caring eyes and a knowing smile. Come and stay with Auntie for a while. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Honey, you got something to feel. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. She
Make
makes
your troubles disappear.
laugh until we start to cry. Talk about the reasons why. Some things heal and some things scar. She'll always meet you right where you are. So grab a notebook and grab a pen. You'll want to take notes when she begins. On Auntie's couch, there's plenty of space, and we learn something new every day. Leave your worries, leave your fears, and lend your auntie both your ears. You make it all crystal clear. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. Auntie's here. You won't wanna miss a single word she'll say. Your favorite auntie's
Oh, I should stop that because it's going to play another song. We don't want to hear another song. Okay. Whew. That was almost a technical malfunction. I don't know. So dramatic. If you're friendly, you want to come up and hang out today, let me change the background. We're going to stick with the very calm topic that I had. Helping me, because that is what my goal here is. I actually don't want to be combative. I do not like it that I yell and scream and stuff. It's actually not who I want to be. So this topic has been lovely, actually. We've had all kinds of conversations and with different Christians and so forth. Okay, well, I hope you're having a lovely time, creative. But anybody else, if you want to come up, you're welcome to come up. I will perform an Auntie sermon for you today, and I've noticed that sometimes I don't get viewers till I start the sermon, so I like to give it a little bit of time and see if we can get a few people in here before I start. But yes, I will perform one today for you. I think that we're going to do Asenath of Egypt, because sometimes after I write these sermons, I don't remember the women because I haven't been taught them enough. Like it's not, the reality is we are repeatedly told about the men, right? So we all know a lot of their stories. Sometimes we mix them up. We say Noah when we mean Jonah, things like that. But yeah, I definitely will. Hi, Kimberly. How are you? Welcome in. So I realized I don't remember Asenath. I don't even remember what I ended up talking about for her. So I've done 32 now, and I don't remember them because one of the things was I was writing them pretty much back to back. I would write one, and then I would write another one, and then I would write another one. And so I think it'd be interesting to talk about Asenath today. Hey, Robin. Again, Kimberly, Robin, any friendlies want to come up? I'm going to do an Auntie sermon first, and then we'll have conversations today. We had some really good conversations this week. Ever since I crashed out on that girl, and I felt horrible about it, I came back with a new attitude, and we switched to this topic. We've been having very lovely conversations. So I'm not, I just think if it's not broke, you don't fix it. So we're going to stick with this topic. It's been working for us. And also, I've been letting you all have more of the conversations. So if you want to come up and co-host and have conversations today, it's open. Come on up. I love it. But in 6 minutes, we'll give it 6 minutes. We will do Asenath of Egypt. I think that'll be a really good one to do today. Do you guys, anybody know who that is? Anybody remember that character? Hey, Kimberly, welcome up.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I'm going to go on mute now because my birds are doing their thing.
Okie doke. Hello over in the YouTube land. Let me see if I have anybody over there. Some days I have 20 people over there, and some days I don't have any. So let me say hi if I've got some people over there. Let's see what's going on the tubers. Well, hello. How are you guys? Welcome in. Thank you all for being here. Make sure that you like the show and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I appreciate you all over on YouTube. I am so close to getting super chats and a new computer. So very soon we will be a whole upgraded live stream. We will have a nice computer that can handle the kind of pressure I want to put on it in order for me to stream both horizontal and vertical over on YouTube and be able to take calls from people over on YouTube. Why don't skeletons fight each other? Hey, you guys, why don't, over on TikTok, because YouTube knows the answer already, why don't skeletons fight each other? Do you know? Because they don't have the guts. Okay, that was a good one. I liked that. Thank you, Harvey. I appreciate that. Guitarista 1600 over on YouTube. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to give it about 4 more minutes. And while we're waiting, I'm just going to play my song one more time because I'm obsessed, okay? I'm just going to tell you. I'm obsessed with my new song. It doesn't matter to me if nobody else is because I like it. So we're going to listen to it.
I have one for you.
Okay.
Why did the guy fall in the well?
I don't know.
He didn't see that well.
Oh my God. All right, we're gonna listen to my new song and then we'll get in to a sermon. Here we go.
California heat. California heat. I've been cruising these streets since I was just sweet 16. Top down in my they just ride. Palm trees get me high. Tell me I'll be just fine. I'll be just fine. Everything gon' be alright. Palm trees on timber lane, sun burning through the day. Now that I'm home again. On timber lane. Thought you knocked me down. Nothing but a clown. But look at me now, boy, I'm back, I'm divine. I don't waste any time, I'm getting what's mine. You're crying in line cause you thought I'd be striving. Thought you left me with nothing. Packed up, dipped out smooth, but you left your own proof. Should've watched what you do. I know how to play games, I know how to play systems. You wrote all the rules, I just learned how to twist them. You ain't on my heart, you in my accounts. Every move that you made came back in amounts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm just maybe a little elevated, and I didn't realize changing windows would turn it off. But my music would keep playing.
Left me for dead. Now your face turning red. You can call me your highness, cause you know I'm righteous. Thought you left me with nothing, not a crumb, not a snack. But I seen it coming, bitch, I always watch my back. I know the game, I learned the system. You wrote all the rules, now watch how I twist them. You ain't on my heart, you in my accounts. Every move that you made came back in amount. Don't mean to grandstand, but I got bands on bands. You'll never catch this bitch crying over a man.
I just need 3 roses. 1 rose from each. There's 8 people in here. They're only 1 coin each. All right, you guys, I know there's only 8 of you in here right now, but for some reason, once I start the sermon, people come in. Then they later go, I missed half of the sermon. Okay, hey, Granda Zana, welcome in. Granda, if it's a friendly Kimberly and I'm doing the sermon, you can bring them up. But if it is an op, I usually have them wait till I'm done with the sermon, okay? Because they don't know how to stay on mute. So they'll interrupt. But the friendlies will mute up. So if anybody requests and wants to come up and hang out with us, just go ahead and request on up. I'm going to go ahead and start the sermon. We're going to talk about Asenath of Egypt this morning. And to be honest with you, I wrote this a while ago, and I don't remember her story. So that's one of the reasons I picked to read hers this morning, her sermon. All right, here we go. Genesis 41:45. Pharaoh named Joseph Zephaniah Paneah, and he gave him Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, as his wife. Joseph went out over the land of Egypt. Okay, so, and just like that, she enters the story. Pharaoh names Joseph, I'm sorry, these names are really difficult this morning, Zephaniah Paneah. Pharaoh elevates Joseph. Pharaoh gives Joseph authority over Egypt. And Pharaoh gives Joseph a woman, Asenath. She is introduced through power, through hierarchy, through structure. She is the daughter of Potiphera. Is it Potiphera or Potiphera? I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Potiphera. Priest of On. So she is the daughter of the priest of On. She is not described by her dreams. She is not described by her personality. She is not described by her faith. She is not. She is positioned. Pharaoh did not simply allow this marriage. The text says he gave her. This is not romance. This is not fate. This is a political alignment. Joseph's authority over Egypt comes with a bride whose identity is rooted in temple authority, and her name is Asenath. Her name, her goddess, her world. Asenath. Who is she before she becomes Joseph's wife, before she becomes the mother of Manasseh and Ephraim, before her body is folded into Israel's tribal structure? Her name is Egyptian. Most scholars connect Asenath to the Egyptian goddess Neith. Let's talk about Neith. Neith is one of the oldest deities in the Egyptian pantheon. Her worship goes back to the pre-dynastic period, before the pyramids, before Egypt became the empire most people imagine. She was especially associated with the city of Sais in the Nile Delta, but she was honored across Egypt, including in major religious centers like On, known in Greek as Heliopolis. Neith was a goddess of war. She was depicted carrying crossed arrows and a shield. She was also a goddess of weaving. The loom was one of her sacred symbols. War and weaving, destruction and craft, protection and production. I have to tell you guys something funny that's going on with me right now. The structure of this sermon is not typed up in the way I'm used to. In my OCD brain, it's reading the same words I would normally read, but because it's not the way I normally have it typed with the correct breaks and spaces, my brain is just struggling on every line. I'm going to keep going, but just in case you're wondering, like, why is Crystal fumbling so much? It's just a weird thing for me, and I'm working on those OCD issues, okay? So this is me verbalizing it so that I can move on now, okay? In later theological developments, Neith was described as a primordial goddess, self-generated, existing before many other gods. Some Egyptian hymns describe her as a mother of the son of Ra, or as a being who brought forth creation through wisdom and speech. She was not fringe. She was not superstition. She was establishment religion, ancient, respectful, powerful. Now imagine being named after her. If Asenath means something like she belongs to Neith or dedicated to Neith, then this is not a casual name. In the ancient world, names were theological statements. They declared allegiance. They invoked protection. They signaled identity. Children of priestly families were often given theophoric names, names that included or referenced a deity. That was a sign of devotion and status. And Asenath is the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. On, or Heliopolis, was one of the most important religious cities in Egypt. It was a major center of solar worship, the cult of Ra. Priests there were not minor clergy. They were intellectual elites, astronomers, theologians, political advisors. Temple complexes controlled land, labor, storage, and ritual life. So when the text says she is the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, it is telling you she was raised in a household saturated with ritual, theology, and power. She would have known the rhythms of temple life. She would have understood sacred hierarchy. She would have grown up in a world where gods were woven into politics and economics. Being named after Neith in a priestly household means she was not spiritually blank. She was claimed, marked, dedicated. Her identity was not undefined, waiting for a Hebrew man to give it meaning. She came from a civilization that believed itself ancient, ordered, and divinely protected. And the text does not erase that. It does not say she renounced Neith. It does not say she abandoned temple worship. It does not say she changed her name. It leaves her exactly where she stands. Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, named for Neith, raised in the sacred architecture of the empire. The political marriage, Genesis 41:45. Pharaoh named Joseph Zaphanath Paneah. I'm sorry, that one, I just stumble on that one. And he gave him Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, as his wife. Joseph went out over the land of Egypt. Let's be clear about what just happened. This was not a love story. This was not divine matchmaking. This was statecraft. Joseph has just interpreted Pharaoh's dreams. Joseph has just been elevated over Egypt's grain supply. Joseph now controls the economic survival of the empire. And then Pharaoh gives him Asenath. In the ancient world, marriage was contract, alliance, consolidation, especially when it involved a priest's daughter from On, the center of solar worship. This is how power stabilizes itself. Joseph is a foreigner, a Hebrew, a former slave. You do not put a foreign slave in charge of your food system without binding him to your elite structures. And that is what this marriage does. By marrying Asenath, Joseph is no longer merely appointed by Pharaoh. He is tied to temple authority. He is tied to priestly lineage. He is tied to religious infrastructure. He is tied to Egypt's sacred power system. This marriage legitimizes him. It quiets suspicion. It strengthens political trust. It embeds him into the ruling class. Asenath is not decoration. She is alliance. She is the bridge between a Hebrew administrator and the religious elite of Egypt. And here's the part that matters for us. The text does not hesitate. It does not warn. It does not say, be careful, Joseph, she's a pagan. It does not frame this as compromise. It presents the marriage as strategic and seamless. When pagan women expand power, they are acceptable. When pagan women threaten power, they become dangerous. And Asenath stands at that intersection. She is not the corruption of the covenant. She is the cement of the empire. Sorry about that. Every verse she appears. Let's look at every place the text actually names her. Genesis 41:45. Pharaoh named Joseph Zaphanath Paneah. I hope I do not have to keep reading that. I should edit this for myself. And he gave him Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, as his wife. Joseph went out over the land of Egypt. Genesis 41:50 through 52. To Joseph were born two sons before the year of famine came, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bore to him. Joseph named the firstborn Manasseh, for he said, God has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. The name of the second he called Ephraim, for God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. Genesis 46:20. To Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bore to him. That is it. 3 references. In all three passages, she is identified by her father. She is identified by her priestly lineage. She is identified as the one who bore sons. She is never quoted. She is never described emotionally. She is never evaluated morally. But she is consistently named, and that matters. Because the text could have erased her. It could have simply said, Joseph had sons. It could have absorbed her into silence, but it repeats her name, Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. The repetition keeps her Egyptian, keeps her priestly, keeps her rooted in that world. She is not incidental. She is written into the genealogy, and through Manasseh and Ephraim, her blood becomes tribal memory. The mother of 2 tribes of Israel is named for an Egyptian goddess, and the text does not flinch. When later tradition gets nervous. Now watch what happens centuries later, because Genesis leaves her Egyptian, but later Jewish tradition begins to wrestle with that fact. How could the mother of 2 tribes of Israel be the daughter of a pagan priest? And this is where Midrash steps in. In Genesis Rabbah 73:13, oh, I'm sorry, hang on one second, I'll let my dog do that. Yeah. I will be interrupted again in just one moment to let him in. I have to leave my earpiece off while I listen for him. In Genesis Rabbah 73:13, also called Bereshit Rabbah, a rabbinic collection of interpretations on Genesis, a tradition appears connecting Asenath to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. The idea develops like this. After the episode in Shechem in Genesis 34, Dinah becomes pregnant. She gives birth. The child is Asenath. She is then sent away and eventually raised in Egypt in the household of Potipharah. Other later traditions, including Pirkei Rabbi Eleazar, sorry, that was another one for me, chapter 38, echo versions of this idea that Asenath was Jacob's granddaughter, not truly Egyptian by blood. In some retellings, Jacob places a golden amulet around the infant's neck, identifying her lineage before she is sent away. Notice what this does. If Asenath is secretly the daughter of Dinah, then she is not a pagan priest's daughter in essence. She is covenant blood, Israelite lineage, family. The tension disappears. No foreign matriarch, no priest of Ra problem. No theological discomfort about tribal origins. Now let him back in because it's hot as hell out there. Now, to be clear, none of this appears in Genesis. Genesis 41 and 46 never hint at this. The biblical text never says she is Dinah's child. I know some of you call her Dinah, okay? But the correct pronunciation is Dinah. It consistently calls her the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. So what are we seeing? We are seeing later communities doing theology. Midrash is not random imagination. It is interpretive response. It fills gaps. It resolves tensions. It protects identity. The rabbis who preserved these traditions were not ignorant of the problem, they felt it, which means the discomfort around Asenath is not modern, it is ancient. And instead of erasing her name, they reclassified her blood. That move tells us something powerful. The original text was comfortable naming her Egyptian. Later generations were less comfortable with that reality. Why Christianity needs her to be pagan. When Christianity reads this story, Joseph becomes more than a patriarch. He becomes a type of Christian. Rejected by his brothers, suffers unjustly, descends before rising, saves the world through suffering. That parallel is preached constantly. And if Joseph is a shadow of Christ, then Asenath must also mean something. Here is where it becomes important. For Christian theology, it is not a problem that she is pagan. It is perfect because she becomes a symbol of the Gentile bride. Joseph marries a foreign woman. Christ marries the church. In Christian theology, the church is made up of former pagans, former idolaters, former outsiders, people who did not worship the God of Israel. So Asenath, the Egyptian priest's daughter, becomes a symbol of the fallen world. She represents the nations, the ones outside covenant, the ones who worship other gods, the ones who must be brought in. In this reading, her pagan identity is not erased, it is redeemed. Joseph does not become contaminated by her, she becomes transformed by him. And that fits Christian narrative perfectly. Christ redeems the pagan world. Christ purifies the outsider. Christ takes a bride from among the nations. So for Christians, it is actually necessary that she is not Israelite. Her foreignness fuels the theology. But notice what happens. She is still not allowed to remain simply Egyptian. She must represent something. She must become metaphor. She must become redeemed allegory. Her lived identity disappears again, this time into Christian symbolism. Now step back earlier, before Christian allegory, before rabbinic smoothing. Second Temple expansion, Joseph and Asenath. During the Second Temple period, a Jewish text appears called Joseph and Asenath. It likely dates between 200 BCE and 200 CE. It survives in Greek manuscripts, and the text cannot tolerate the silence of Genesis. In Joseph and Asenath, Asenath is portrayed as proud and devoted to idols. Joseph refuses to kiss her, refuses to unite with her because she worships other gods. She weeps, she fasts, she destroys her idols, she renounces her gods. An angelic figure appears. She is symbolically reborn. Only after conversion does Joseph accept her. This Second Temple imagination already tightens the boundaries. Genesis leaves her Egyptian. This later text insists she must repent. So whether through Christian typology or Jewish Second Temple storytelling, her pagan identity cannot remain unresolved. It must either be secretly Israelite, converted, or allegorized. I can't talk today. Ambiguity becomes intolerable. And that tightening, that increasing discomfort with her simply being who she was, tells us something about how theology evolves. The fracture. Now this is where it breaks open, because many Christians are taught something very clear, or at least this is what they tell us out there on the TikTok streets. They tell us that paganism is evil. They tell us that idolaters are corrupt. They tell us that mixing with the nations brought judgment. They tell us that entire peoples, Amalekites, Canaanites, had to be wiped out. That their babies' heads were dashed against rocks. That evil had to be eradicated before it spread. That God's moral standards never change. That God hates idolatry. That purity must be protected at all costs. And yet here, at the foundation of the story, Joseph, the righteous patriarch, marries Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, named for Neith, raised in temple culture. And the text does not panic. No warning, no divine rebuke, no narrative crisis. And this is not an isolated case. Abraham takes Hagar, an Egyptian. Judah fathers children through Tamar, a Canaanite. Moses marries Zipporah, a Midianite. Again and again, the fathers of this religion marry women from outside Israel, and the covenant does not collapse. Lightning does not strike. The lineage does not dissolve. So if pagan blood contaminates covenant purity, then Manasseh and Ephraim are compromised from birth. But they are not treated that way. They become tribes. They receive blessings. They inherit land. So what changed? Because later in the text, boundaries tighten. Intermarriage becomes threat. Foreign women become danger. Supremacy language hardens. I gotta get my doggy one more time. He's just being so good. Come on, you don't need to get in there, okay? You know what to do. You go inside. Come on. So sorry for the interruptions. Okay. So what changed? Because later in the text, boundaries tighten. Intermarriage becomes threat. Foreign women become danger. Supremacy language hardens. But here at the root, marrying into a pagan household is not presented as corruption. It is presented as strategy, as alliance, as consolidation, as power. And that is the fracture. When pagan women expand empire, they are acceptable. When pagan women threaten religious control, they are dangerous. So maybe the issue was never paganism. Maybe the issue was power. What she wants to say. When I'm writing these sermons, and I've said this before, it's a lot of grief work. The deeper I research the women I'm going to speak about, the more I realize how often this religion diminished them, absorbed them, used them, or left them half-formed on that page. And that's painful. It's painful to come to terms with that over and over again, to get to the next woman and there's barely any information, no dialogue, no inner world, sometimes no backstory, sometimes not even a name. And I cannot stand up here week after week and say today's sermon is about erasure. Today's sermon is about silence. Today's sermon is about another woman without a voice, because that would be boring. And more than that, it would be a disservice. My goal is not to center the absence. My goal is to decenter the men and bring the women forward. So I have to dig deeper, not just into the text, not just into the scholarship, not just into the history. I have to dig into what it feels like to be a woman inside systems that write you in as secondary. And I have to ask myself, if I could go back in time, if these women were real flesh and blood people, what would they have wanted to tell us? That is not always easy. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it's grief layered on grief. But with Asenath, I don't hear silence. I hear something sharper. I think she would say this: you built your religion on women like me. You built your tribes through my body. You stabilized your empire through my marriage. You inherited land through my sons. And then centuries later, you told women like me we were evil. You told women like me that our gods were demons. You told women like me that we were corrupt. You told women like me that we should be eradicated. But in the beginning, you needed us. Not because we converted, not because we erased ourselves, but because we dissolved into your God. But because alliance mattered, not because we dissolved into your God, but because alliance mattered more than purity. Power mattered more than ideology. Survival mattered more than supremacy rhetoric. Asenath stands at the foundation of this story as proof that pagan women were not the threat they later became. She exposes something. The boundaries were not always this tight. The hatred was not always this loud. The supremacy was not always this rigid. That came later. And if we are called dangerous today, it is not because we worship differently. It is because we are no longer useful. We are no longer silent. We are no longer compliant. We are no longer property. Asenath does not stand in this story as corruption. She stands as contradiction. I see it. Do you? Then, when theology leaves the page, this idea that certain women are spiritually dangerous did not stay inside Scripture. It left the page. In 1487, Heinrich Kramer published a Latin manual called Malleus Maleficarium. I cannot say it, but I'm going to tell you what it means in English. It means hammer of witches. This was not a devotional book. It was a procedural guide for identifying, interrogating, and prosecuting alleged witches. The text argued that women were more susceptible to demonic influence, more carnal, more morally unstable, more likely to enter into pacts with the devil. It framed the female body as spiritually suspicious. And then it outlined methods. Women accused of witchcraft were stripped naked, their bodies were shaved, their genitals were examined. Wait, hang on. I'm sorry. I need to interrupt. I need to interrupt my own sermon to say thank you, Jax. 40 years old. I fucking love you. I love you. That's such a nice compliment. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back to this. I don't even know where I left off, so give me a second here. The text argued that women were more susceptible to demonic influence, more carnal, more morally unstable, more likely to enter into pacts with the devil. It framed the female body as spiritually suspicious. And then it outlined methods. Women accused of witchcraft were stripped naked. Their bodies were shaved. Their genitals were examined. Every inch of their skin was searched for so-called devil's marks, blemishes, or insensitive spots believed to be evidence of a pact with Satan. These examinations were conducted by male authorities. They were invasive, they were humiliating, they were sexualized. Under the authority of witch hunting courts, women were subjected to sexual assault during interrogations. There are documented cases from European witch trials in which women were raped or sexually violated under the pretext of identifying or expelling demonic influence. The logic was simple and monstrous. If demons could inhabit the body, then the body could be handled, probed, penetrated, violated in the name of exposing evil. Torture was permitted if confession did not come quickly. Strappado, suspension of arms, thumb screws, crushing devices, beatings, sleep deprivation. Under torture, women confessed to impossible acts, flying, shape-shifting, sexual intercourse with demons, because pain will make a human being say anything. Between the 15th and the 18th centuries, tens of thousands of people were executed across Europe during the witch hunts. The majority of the accused and executed were women, not witches. Women. Widows, midwives, healers, women who inherited property, women without male protection, women who were socially inconvenient. In 1692, in Salem, Massachusetts, religious panic and communal fear led to the execution of 19 people by hanging. The overwhelmingly majority of the accused were women. No witches died in Salem. women died. The accusation of spiritual corruption made violence righteous. Once a woman was declared spiritually dangerous, her body became evidence. Once her body became evidence, it became disposable. Theology shaped imagination, imagination shaped procedure, procedure shaped bodies. Asenath stands at the beginning of a story where a pagan priest's daughter is not yet framed as an existential threat. But history shows what can happen when that framing hardens. Pagan woman becomes accusation. Accusation becomes interrogation. Interrogation becomes violation. Violation becomes execution. Ideas do not stay ideas. They become manuals, they become courtrooms, they become graves. What pagan really means. Before we go any further, we need to talk about that word pagan, because that word gets thrown at women like a weapon. The word pagan comes from the Latin paganus, which originally meant villager or civilian. It referred to people outside the Roman military or outside the urban elite religious structure. Over time, as Christianity became the institutional power inside the Roman Empire, pagan became the label for anyone who did not convert. It did not originally mean evil. It did not originally mean demonic. It did not originally mean morally corrupt. It meant not us. But in Christian theology, especially as it developed into state power, pagan became loaded. It became idolater, heathen, God-hater, morally depraved, sexually unrestrained, spiritually dangerous. And here's the shift that matters. Early Hebrew culture was not built on the same purity panic that later Christian systems developed. Ancient Israel was not born in isolation. It interacted, it intermarried, it negotiated, it existed inside a polytheistic world. The later obsession with sexual purity, female submission, and rigid boundary control is far more shaped by later Christian theology than by early Israelite practice. Purity culture, as many of us experienced it, the obsession with women's bodies, with modesty, with virginity, with submission, with unequally yoked, with being set apart. That tightening comes much later. And when purity becomes identity, women's bodies become battleground. Because if you believe moral contamination spreads through women, through sexuality, through reproduction, through autonomy, then controlling women becomes holy work. And that ideology does not stay theological. It becomes legislative. In recent years, lawmakers in multiple U.S. states have introduced bills that would classify abortion as homicide. Some proposals would allow prosecutors to pursue the death penalty in abortion cases under existing capital punishment statutes. That is not abstract. That is not medieval. That is now. You can argue about intent, you can debate interpretation, but the structure is clear. When a woman's body is defined as a moral crime scene, the state becomes enforcer. Just like they did when they used the hammer of the witches, just like they did during the Salem witch trials, lawmakers today want to use their power to eradicate the pagan woman. When religious ideology defines certain women as corrupt, dangerous, or out of order, law can follow. And you may ask, what does that have to do with Asenath? Because she shows us something foundational. There was a time when so-called pagan woman was acceptable. There was a time when alliance mattered more than purity rhetoric. Don't spam my chat. Does it seem like I'm having a conversation right now? Can somebody mute to Litiv, whatever his fucking name is? Thank you. And you may ask, what does that have to do with Asenath? It has everything to do with her. Because she shows us something foundational. There was a time when a so-called pagan woman was acceptable. There was a time when alliance mattered more than purity rhetoric. There was a time when her body was not framed as contamination. The move from pagan woman is useful to pagan woman must be controlled. It's not accidental. It is ideological evolution. And when ideology evolves toward control, women feel it first. So when women today are labeled pagan, rebellious, unsubmissive, corrupt, understand the weight of that word. It has been used before, and it has done harm before. And that harm has never been theoretical. It was embodied. We were always here. So let's end where we began with her. Asenath, the Egyptian priest's daughter named for Neith, married into Israel, mother of tribes. She did not disappear. She was not erased. She was not absorbed. Her blood runs through the very structure of the covenant story. And that means something, because if the foundation includes a woman like her, then the narrative that pagan women are outside, dangerous, contaminating, must be re-examined. We were never outside. We were always in the story. We were always part of the structure. We were always woven into the inheritance. The difference is not holiness. The difference is usefulness. When women secure power, they are welcomed. When women refuse control, they are labeled dangerous. Asenath stands at the beginning, not as corruption, not as threat, but as proof. Proof that the lines were not always drawn the way they are drawn now. Proof that purity rhetoric evolved. Proof that fear is often constructed. And here is what matters for us. You are not a witch unless you're a witch, okay? Because some of you are witches, but you're a witch by choice, you know what I mean? You are not contaminated. You are not an existential threat to the divine. You are a thinking, breathing, autonomous human being. If they call you pagan, remember, so was she. And the covenant did not collapse. The tribes did not fall apart. God did not strike her down. The story kept moving, and so will we. She was safe because she had power. So let's come back to her. Asenath, the Egyptian priest's daughter, named for Neith, raised in temple authority, married into Israel. The only reason she was acceptable is because she came with power. She came with influence. She came with political leverage. She came with priestly backing. She strengthened the system. That is why it was okay. Not because paganism was harmless, not because idol worship didn't matter, not because purity was flexible. It was okay because she increased their power. And that is the pattern. When a woman strengthens the structure, she is welcome. When a woman does not serve the structure, she is disposable. When a woman challenges the structure, she becomes dangerous. The shift from pagan woman is useful to pagan woman must be eradicated is not about holiness. It is about control. Religious men only truly care about power and influence. Any woman who cannot give them that is disposable. They attack women who threaten it. And the ones who threaten it are the ones who think, the ones who educate themselves, the ones who refuse submission, the ones who stop believing the story handed to them. That is when pagan becomes insult. That is when witch becomes accusation. That is when immoral becomes justification. Asenath was different from us in one way. She had leverage, she had status, she had backing, she had usefulness. We are dangerous because we are not useful. We do not kneel, we do not conform, we do not center their authority. So maybe this is what she would say, be dangerous. Invoke Neith. Not because you worship her, but because of what she represents. Neith was a goddess of wisdom, a goddess of weaving, a goddess of creation. ancient, self-originating, not dependent on male validation. Wisdom is dangerous. Critical thinking is dangerous. Education is dangerous. Refusing a patriarchal narrative is dangerous. And that kind of danger is sacred. I don't believe in gods. I don't believe in goddesses. But if I am choosing attributes, I will take wisdom over obedience. I will take strength over submission. I will take independence over divine hierarchy. As it stands in the genealogy as proof, the powerful pagan women were always part of the foundation. They were tolerated when useful, feared when free, so be free. Be educated, be questioning, be strong, be exactly what they warn you against. And that's my Auntie sermon for today. And if you want to come up and talk, the guest box is now open. I'm going to start here because I really want to know. Hey, Tiny, welcome in. Come on up if you want. Hey, Peter. Can I get
another
your age
great
for
one.
TikTok purposes?
Oh,
Thank you, Kimberly. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yes, I'm 19.
You're 19, and are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Oh, yeah, I'm a Christian.
So why were you asking to come up when clearly what I was doing was not having a conversation at that moment? Were you confused on what I was doing?
No, I just came up due to the prom. I just had some questions.
Right, but you could see that I was obviously not bringing up guests right at that moment. So, as a Christian, you're supposed to have the fruits of the Holy Spirit, and one of them is
apologies. I'm sorry.
So you should have those patience. So, what is your question what's on your mind today?
Yeah, why are you an atheist?
The main reason I'm an atheist, you guys, I have a few people in the box, but I don't want to bring up a lot if I'm not going to have friendlies who help me. So if you're friendly, you want to come up and help me, that would be great. I'll bring up another Christian as well here. Do you know what special pleading is?
Can you define it?
Yeah, special pleading is when, like you make a rule and you say it's an absolute rule, but you have like a bias towards one thing. So for instance, you'll say your God can do anything, but then I'll point out something and you're going to tell me, well, he can't do that because that would be out of his character. That's special pleading, okay? And I realized that I didn't believe any of the stories about any other gods. Like you probably don't either. You don't believe in Hercules, right?
Yeah, no.
Nah, you don't believe in Hercules. You don't believe in Zeus and Neith and Ishtar. You don't believe that those gods were real. They had no power. They couldn't do anything. And I realized I don't believe that. I don't believe that either. You're right. That's just ridiculous. Why would I believe that? But then why did I believe the same stories during the same time period being told about another God? And the reason I believed it was because I was raised to believe it. And I was special pleading for this God. And I didn't want to do it anymore. So I stopped.
Okay. But what if you were given like supernatural evidence, like in your life or like during a time period of...
Even if something supernatural happened, I would not think that it's because of the God of the Bible. He just doesn't make sense to me. But let me really quick before we continue say hi to everybody else who has joined the panel. DMR, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, over 40.
All right. And are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
I'm a Christian, yeah.
Okay. Tiny, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming up. I'm going to let you take some of these conversations if you don't mind. You can help me with them. Sunny, welcome up. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi. Well, I was just going to say hi to the next guest, but he dropped down, so we'll bring up one more. We've got Cheese Man coming up. We'll find out his age and religious affiliation. Cheese Man, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
I'm 18.
And are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Did
No.
you just come up to hang out and chat with us?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Peter, did you have another question, or do you want to let DMR ask a question? What did you want to do next?
I'm gonna let DMR ask a question because I'll take
right.
a little while. Yeah.
I'm gonna mute you, Cheese Man. Your background noise, it makes it so people can't have a conversation. DMR, what would you like to talk about?
Yeah, I was, well, I requested when things were a little bit more chill. I don't have a question, but it was like, what's on my mind?
Yeah, what's on your mind? That's fine. What's on your mind?
But in the whole kind of religious thing, I saw a super interesting lecture today about, there's this dude who's written a book about, very recently, about the influence of John the Baptist on theology and Christ and what we can like extract from the accounts in the New Testament. I watched a very interesting lecture about if we can go any further back with like what John the Baptist kind of vibe was, what was he trying to do? Because he's kind of this confusing figure in the gospel accounts. You know, some of them big him up, some of them really want to kind of suppress him a little bit. Paul doesn't mention him at all, but he seems to have like an instrumental influence on the mission of I wanted to talk about that. If anyone talk about that.
Well, I if I'm not mistaken, John the Baptist, as far as everybody knows, was a real person who, had kind of like a religious cult at the time. He had a pretty big following. And so when the writers of the gospel were writing the story, the ones who added him in were like, hey, let's get some of his followers. Let's include him in this story, and maybe we can get some of his cult members into our cult as well.
You don't think there's a kind of awkward thing in the Gospels where some like try and play down his influence? Like, there seems to be like a historical connection between the two figures.
No, I think it's a false claim made by the ones who did write about it.
Okay, so do you think, are you a mythicist?
I'm not necessarily a mythicist, but I do realize that there is really no actual evidence that Jesus ever existed. I mean, it's just true. It doesn't exist.
But if it's a false claim, why would one sort of mention it and then sort of try and play it down?
I don't think they tried to play it down. I think some of them put him in there because they were trying to get his cult members, and some of them didn't because the Gospels, when they were written, used different sources. Some of them, copy right over from Mark, and some of them from other stories.
Yeah, I mean,
Cheeseman,
there's one that...
Cheeseman, you can
sure.
come into the conversation. Go ahead. You have to come off mute, though. You got to hit the little microphone. Oh, you got it? Okay.
I did not know about that.
Are you okay? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop you down. I feel like maybe you didn't come up to actually have a conversation, so but we're actually having one, so we're going to continue that, okay? I don't think that any of them are trying to downplay it. I think some of them, just like some of them have stories about, and Christians always try to say, well, that's because it's from, different perspectives. No, it's not. It's from different sources.
Okay, but the sources have to come from somewhere, right?
Right, like Mark is one of the first, and he is one of the main sources for the other Gospels. And like I said, I do believe John the Baptist was a real cult leader at the time. And
Why do you think he was a real figure?
I'm pretty sure he's mentioned outside the Bible. Let me double check. Pretty sure that we have him right outside the Bible. You guys, while I'm looking this up, Sonny, can you do a commercial for me?
Sure, yeah. If everyone wants to keep tapping the screen, make sure to share out the live, and you can go ahead and repost it as well. And then we also have a gift goal, and Crystal stays live as an extra hour, I believe, if we meet the gift goal.
Yep.
So if you want to be sending those gifts. And then she also has a drop gift that she has. I think it's $5 to her. Is it your Venmo or in her bio? And yeah, so just keep tapping and sharing out the live.
And you know, he might not have been real, but I do know that Josephus talks about him in Antiquities of the Jews. So maybe that's the outside source. So I have it right here. So I'd have to look at it later and see if where Josephus gets it from is, you know, if it's reliable or whatever, but he does speak about him as well. And there are independent religious traditions. The Mandeans, an ancient religious group that still exists today, revere John the Baptist as the greatest prophet and reject Jesus. So there, but there is like no archaeological or anything like that. You're right, that doesn't exist.
No, exactly. I'm on the same level as Jesus. But on the downplaying, I just quickly checked. John, the Gospel of John really goes on the downplaying. He doesn't mention John the Baptist baptizing Jesus. And he...
Right, you're calling that downplaying. I'm saying he's omitting it. I'm just saying like he didn't... Like he's not downplaying it. I don't think it really happened. So one person did...
But
John is saying,
John is having John the Baptist say, I'm not the Christ, I'm not Elijah, I'm not the prophet. And then he said, he must increase, but I must decrease.
I think that's really important for Christian theology, that he was like, hey, there's a popular cult out here, and we want to get their cult in, but we want to make sure that cult knows that John thought Jesus was the head of the cult. That's fucking very simple to figure out. Like, why?
But then Luke goes to the great lengths to show the family connection between John the Baptist and Jesus.
Right. Well, I don't understand your point. What are you trying to say? Because to me, this is all make-believe, and none of this has any evidence behind the claims that are made in the Gospels. It's a cult making claims to try to get more cult members.
Okay, so what was the cult of John the Baptist?
First of all, you understand that they never expected us to get all the Gospels and put them together and read them side by side. So they didn't think that having different stories mattered.
I understand how canonization worked. But okay, presumably you think the cult of John the Baptist was real, or is it just all Spider-Man in New York?
Yeah, I believe there was a historical man named John the Baptist who had a cult. Yes.
What do you think why were they separated
he
from
was
the
a
temple?
cult
What were they
leader.
trying to do? Yeah, what was
I
his
don't
thing?
know.
What was he
He
attracting
was a
people?
weirdo cult leader. Like, what was any cult leader ever trying to do? Gain power and control people, I guess.
Okay.
Let me really quick introduce this our other guest to the show, because Shobes, is that how you say it? Shobes?
Yeah,
Welcome
I'm
to the
over
show.
18, but I don't think I have much time to stay. I'm getting done with work.
Okay.
I was just kind of listening in. I guess the only thing I picked up many things along the way, but one of them, you really don't believe that Jesus Christ existed, even though there's many scholars that said he did.
I do not know, and I don't actually care whether he existed. The claims that he makes, I don't believe. So to me, I'm kind of apathetic towards whether he was a real person or not, but I am aware that there is no actual evidence that he was a real person. And that's
But
just
many
factual.
scholars can pull up real evidence of actual manuscripts.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
You should watch my friend. His name is Christ Before Jesus. He's on the app. He's written a book about it called Christ Before Jesus. And he goes through this every single day right here on this app. People will come at him with Josephus, Tacitus, Pliny, and he knocks them down one after another. And he shows people how that evidence doesn't exist. So
the
it's a really good book. Yeah, actually, scholars don't say that. Many scholars say they just say Jesus was a real person, but you know where they find the evidence? from the Bible. That's not evidence, okay? So if you're a biblical scholar using the Bible as your evidence, that's a circular
Okay, but
argument.
just to you,
okay?
the Bible's not true. That's just to you.
No,
That's
it's
your
not just
opinion.
to me.
That's
It's
your
not just to
opinion.
me. It is not just to me. You would have, there is no evidence outside the claims. And you haven't brought any, by the way. You've just said there is. Hang on one second. Let me introduce Logan. Logan, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 22.
And I assume you're a Christian?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay. What did you want to say?
Yeah, when we're talking about like the writings of Josephus, is that not an external source?
Yeah, and he doesn't mention Jesus.
Wait, the writings of Josephus doesn't mention. Wait, hang on. Is the writings of Josephus?
There's an interpolation, and
really
there's an
quickly.
interpolation in the writings of Josephus. Got it right here. And there's another mention, I think, in Josephus about Jesus, but he's like the son of Damius or some other guy.
Well,
it's not.
no, I'm not saying he's mentioning
Josephus.
Jesus, right? But when we're talking about the events taking place, right, you would say that the writings of Josephus matches with the events being told within the Bible.
Can you give an example?
No, they don't on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can give a pretty clear example. Josephus strictly states that within his writings, hang on, let me actually really quickly make sure I have the exact book in the spot. Here we go. Yeah, Josephus claims that within 6 AD, that Quirinius came in as governor and imposed a tax which ended up being opposed by
I'm
Jesus.
not saying everything that was ever written in the Bible isn't true. They name real places.
Okay,
They name
that's my point.
Okay, let me clarify. They name his real place. Let me clarify so you understand me. They name real places and real historical events. But that gentleman was saying that I should automatically believe Jesus was a real person because there's proof, and there isn't. Outside of the Bible, there is nothing. We have no archaeological evidence. We have no writings from any other people. None of the witnesses who saw the resurrection actually wrote about the resurrection. And I'm not saying that Jesus isn't a real person. I already answered this question a couple of times, and I said, I don't care. What my claim is that the things he says he did in the Bible are not true. He did not walk on water. He didn't take fish and feed all those people. That didn't happen.
Okay, so you're saying that the accounts for them aren't true accounts.
Right. We have no evidence that any of those accounts actually occurred.
Yeah,
therefore,
I
don't believe things without evidence.
Yeah, but you could say that just about any historical account.
No, you cannot. You cannot, because in any other historical account, first of all, dating back for over 100 years now, we can have photographs, and we have actual, like people say, you can't prove George Washington was real either. Yes, of course we can. We've got his teeth.
No, I got you. Right.
Got from slaves,
but you can.
So it's ridiculous to say that.
Yeah, but you can see that certain parts of the Bible are technically true, like as in it mentions true places, it mentions true things that happened. Things are within the Bible.
So does Harry Potter, so does Spider-Man, so does any Marvel movie.
Well, yeah, and even if you want to get into other religions,
I'm trying to articulate the point. Well, I'm just trying to articulate the point real quick. Right?
But just real quick, you want to say because there's historical facts that makes all the
No, that's not what I want to say.
True?
No,
because that would make like
I'm trying to understand her
true.
claim. No. I'm trying to understand her claim. Whether or not which religion is true or not, that's a different claim. That's more of a theological claim. Right, I'm trying to understand.
I'm not making a claim. This guy came up and thought I was a mythicist. This guy came up and thought that I should just believe all the scholars who have ever lived who have said Jesus was a real person. But when I dug into why they say it, I found out they say it because they just go with what the Bible says. Well, I'm not going to do that. I don't believe the Bible was true. I want outside sources. So then I went looking for those. I read a very good book by a man on here named Jaron called Christ Before Jesus, really good friend. And I started realizing, wow, there really is no outside evidence. Now, I already didn't believe in Jesus as the Savior, but it made me realize, oh, he might not have been a real person, but I've never made the claim that he's not a real person. I never made a claim. He just came up here and started saying this stuff to me. So I haven't made a claim.
I got you. Well, all I'm trying to understand here, right? Well, you did make a claim. You made the claim that the things in the Bible didn't actually happen because you don't have enough evidence, right? So I'm just trying to understand here.
Nope,
exactly.
I didn't say that either.
You didn't say the things that happen in the Bible don't have enough evidence, so we shouldn't take the accountings to be true.
I said the miracles he committed, like there's no evidence. Right.
That's my point.
Okay, and
That's
you
what I
don't
just
believe
said.
that Muhammad went to the moon and split it either, do you?
Well, no, that would be more under the theological claim, right? I could see that being maybe possibly true, right? But I would say it's trivially not true.
I'm sorry, I don't have eyebrows. I have to draw them on. I'm really sorry that bothers you. I do have to draw my eyebrows on because I don't have eyebrows. I'm sorry that upset you. I'm sorry, Pumpkin.
I'm trying to make sure I understand.
That's a direct comparison. If you don't believe Muhammad split the moon in two, like it's the same exact thing. Like he might have existed in some of the historical.
I can use the evidences to come to a conclusion that it could be true, right? But I would say it's trivially untrue because what Muhammad claims, or the entailment of that being true, would mean that there are illogical pretenses within their theology that I wouldn't agree with.
There's illogical pretenses within your theology, sir.
Yeah, what's the
sun did not go backward one day. The sun did not go backward. The sun never went backward.
What does that got to do with the theology?
What do you?
You're not applying the same standard.
Do you know what theology is?
You know what?
You know what
Godwin,
theology
welcome
is?
to the show. Godwin, well, I'm not going to keep answering your silly question. First of all, you haven't answered our questions.
You said what is?
Second,
what? I answered all your questions.
Excuse me, Logan. Why are you interrupting me when I'm answering?
Because I was interrupted.
No. First of all, I want to explain something to you because I told people I'm not going to get upset, I'm not going to yell, I'm not going to be that person, okay?
Yeah, I know. I understand.
I'm the host. When I talk, you're supposed to mute, and I'm still talking, so I don't know why you're unmuting. It's really getting to me. But please stop. I'm not going to sit here and define words for you. You are making claims about your God. When we point out that other gods have the same claims, you're like, that's a theology issue. Dude, it's
what claim did I make?
Okay. Anyway, that the miracles in the Bible are real, and that Muhammad splitting the moon isn't.
No.
I'm sorry. You can stop me.
I know you're sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to tell you, right? You're not letting me speak, though, right?
What? I'm trying to apologize.
I know you're sorry.
To you for real, Logan. Can you stop?
Cool. You can apologize.
Stop talking over me.
You're talking over me.
I'm literally trying to apologize to you. I'm literally trying to apologize to you. Can you be quiet for a minute so I can do that?
The words, I'm sorry.
You guys, just so you know, it's that, okay? Go ahead, Logan. It's your show. Go ahead, talk.
Yep, I will. Yeah, so you're making the claim that we can't actually affirm any of the accountings because there's just no evidence behind them.
You don't believe in them anyway.
Right?
Wait, why are you bringing them up? You don't believe in them.
Whoa, why are we interrupting? We're interrupting.
Oh,
hey,
because
Logan,
I'll do whatever I want to.
And then you're saying, whoa, and then I'm being interrupted. I haven't even been able to do the point I've been trying to make.
Shut your mouth for a minute, Logan.
Can I not make the point?
Logan.
It's one of those lies.
Logan, shut up. If you keep talking over Crystal, I will drop you from this panel and block you. Now, if you want to have a civil conversation, which means one person speaks and then the other person speaks, you are welcome to stay up here. This is your last warning.
I apologize. I just want to simply speak and not.
I know you're sorry.
Whoa!
I know you're sorry.
Look at that.
I know you're sorry. I know you're sorry.
Civil conversation.
I know you're sorry. I know you're sorry. You already said it. Oh, thank you.
Civil
oh my God! Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my my God. I was going to say, I'm sorry, I thought you were a Christian and you believed that Jesus did miracles. But here's the thing. You do believe that, and you wanted to pretend like you didn't for the argument, but then when I make it so that you don't believe it, then you want to use that for the argument. I don't play games like that, Logan. Fucking stand your ground. If you believe Jesus was the Lord of Lords and he walked on water and he fucking did all this miraculous shit, then just stand on that. Don't go back and forth in argument. And don't play the mute game. I hate that so much. Oh my goodness. Godwin, I was going to let you talk to him and handle him for me, but I couldn't get him to shut up long enough for me to say, I'm going to let you talk to Godwin.
Thank you. I think you figured him out, pretty precisely. And I liked what Sonny was saying. I wanted to just ask him a question, but, he won't shut up long enough to ask him a question. When he's speaking that much, how is he going to learn anything? I wanted to ask him, Socratically, just say, are you applying the same standard to both religions that you mentioned? And just see what he says. I mean, he's going to have to talk himself out of it, but he'll have to expose himself at that point, I think.
That's exactly it. That's why I kept trying to lead him back to that point. Like, it's a direct comparison, and he wasn't understanding it, so.
Well, his only defense was just not shutting up.
Right, exactly. First of all, Karhu, thank you for the gift. And hang on one second, Kimberly. When my mods overstep, I have no problem telling you right then, like, I've got it, okay? And Sonny will tell you, I'll go, I've got this, But so you did not overstep. If I'm sitting back letting you handle it, you're doing the right thing. But Karhu, welcome to the panel, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you today?
I'm good, just walking with my dog right now. Lovely evening.
That's nice. I hope you're having a lovely evening. Well, if you are a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible, or anybody who wants to come up, who, has something on your mind, you want to talk about it, the guest box is open. I saw somebody, the guy who kept coming up here and then leaving and coming up here and leaving, Shobes, I think was his name. He mentioned the Shroud of Turin in the Bible. How is that still an argument today? Godwin, Tiny, anybody got any idea why we're still talking about this?
People don't think, and I know a lot of people have really good scientific evidence, like, the type of weave that it was used was like, I forget that type of herringbone weave that didn't exist. But my favorite is from being an artist, and hey, Kimberly, my favorite is from being an artist is that if you're going to have a three-dimensional thing and put ink on it, and then wrap a towel around it and pull the towel off, it is going to stretch and take on the shape of the sides of the cheeks all the way to the ears, and it's not going to look like someone's face when you open it up, kind of like a Rorschach ink blot test. You stretch it, and that is not how it would have looked if it were on someone's face. However, if someone painted it, that's exactly how it would look.
Right, exactly. I don't know. I when I was a Christian, I never believed in the shroud. I thought that was just, another phony artifact, right? A tourism type of thing, and I couldn't understand why. I'm sorry, what?
The Shroud of Tourism.
Yes, it's the Shroud of Tourism. And I didn't understand how other Christians believed it to be true. I could not wrap my head around that, because it was like, the Bible tells you what he was wrapped in. It doesn't match the description. And the face thing was so evident to me as an artist. I'm like, it wouldn't look like that. What are you guys talking about?
One of the most damaging pieces of evidence that's out there is a letter from Pierre de Arcis to the Pope at the time, saying that there's a piece of art headed your way known as the Shroud.
And he admits it, right?
Yeah, he says it's a piece of art.
That's crazy to me.
Also, I heard the early church disavowed it. Like, one of the leaders at the time said, no, this is garbage, throw it away. And they just sat on it until that guy passed away, and they could pull it out of the closet again and parade it around.
So crazy to me. It's so
I want to
crazy
know,
to
what
me.
I want to know as far as artifacts goes, where is the holy prepuce? Who has it? I heard the Vatican actually keeps
Ooh,
it in a jar. What's it kept in? They don't talk about it, but they say they have it.
that's so gross.
Has anyone heard anything about this? It is. It's wicked gross.
So gross. Yeah, just, you know what? Just don't circumcise little boys anymore. Just stop doing that. Can we just stop doing that? Can we?
Was the foreskin his
I
biggest
don't believe it.
mistake? Or was it
I
sin?
mean, like,
can't
if God
figure it
wanted
out.
you to be that way, wouldn't he have made you that way? I'm just saying. That's what men always tell us, you know, when we do a little nip tuck or, you know, dye our hair. If God wanted you to be that way, he'd have made you that way. So,
Yeah, that's
keep
a
your
good
foreskin.
point. God made you perfectly, but yet you have to cut this part of your body off.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's very
stupid.
strange.
So stupid. He made you in his image. Oh, shit. Well, kind of, but he fucked up on that. And in order to be more like him, you have to cut that off. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I love
the
it.
ticket.
The next time someone says to you in an argument that we have perfect bodies, that's the first thing you should bring up.
Yeah, right? Like, really? Do men have perfect bodies? I don't think they do. God doesn't like that tip. Well, you guys, keep tapping the screen, sharing out the live. I've been live for almost an hour and a half, I guess now, almost 2 hours. And I'm not even at 20,000 likes, and I did a sermon. So you need to tap that screen, do all the good stuff. Yeah, get those heart knees and collect your team points, if you will. Thank you very, very much. What else? You know, I really liked today's sermon because I had forgotten about Azimuth. And I think it is important to remember that pagan women are hated only because we're not useful. But when we're useful, well, we become a part of the covenant line, right? So many pagan women in the covenant. Hey, Tris, good to see you. And I think I want to take the language out of that particular sermon about the witches because I know what people mean, and that's why I used it when I said there were no witches killed at in Salem or during bye Godwin, you know, during that time or whatever. But there are witches. But it just doesn't mean what people think it means, and I don't want to negate them or dismiss them. And maybe one of those people was a real witch. Do I believe witches can do magic? No, I don't. But I believe there are people who venerate witchcraft and their ancestry in such ways. I know a lot of people who do the rituals, who don't believe there's any magic or any manifesting or anything like that. But what it does is it helps with their anxiety. It helps them, you know, like release that negative or positive energy into something, into anything. Like a lot of times, people who do self-harm will tell you that they do self-harm because they don't feel like they have any place where they can release all the pain that they feel, so they release it on themselves. And so things like witchcraft and rituals of any kind, you know, any kind of rituals can help people process those emotions in a safe environment. It's no more, you know, we do all kinds of rituals. The only ones that we think are weird do we, you know, turn down our nose at, right? Like, who doesn't have a ritual of how they get up and make their coffee or what have you, right? We have our little morning rituals. We have our journaling or what have you. So, you know, lots of people have rituals. Hi, Jesus Loves You. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? Okay.
Coffee, and I've been told that I'm weird because of that.
You have.
Can I ask you a question, madam?
Yeah.
ask you a
Can I
question,
just
please?
get your age? Can I get your age real quick? I'm sorry.
I'm 55.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. You can ask your question.
Right. You know, Christianity is on the decline, right? We know this, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
could I just ask a question though? What harm is Christianity doing that other
Christianity
religions?
is very, very harmful to women and marginalized people as a whole.
But the religion is dying. Do you think there's any other religion that's on the rise that actually needs to be?
I don't want religions necessarily on the rise. I don't think that religion is important.
Yeah, we're talking about other religions, for example, Islam. Don't you think Islam is on the rise, and that's most likely we should be focusing on?
I'm not, I never was Islamic, so I can't really speak to the things about how Islam harms people. But I do talk to Muslims pretty regularly, and I tell them the same things I'm saying here today. Their religion is harmful.
It is very harmful because in the UK,
yes,
they're just growing by numbers, and
just like Christianity, and Christianity is just like taking over my country's government right now.
Well, obviously that become political, but I don't think the Christians.
Well, yeah, and that's important to me because for me as a woman, they're taking away my rights. And I'm in America where Christianity is taking over my country right now, and it is doing it under the guise of love, but it's actually white Christian nationalism. And I don't want that in my country. Now, maybe in your country, you need to go fight the good fight and go fight against the Muslims and how they're trying to take over. But here in my country, I need to talk about this because this is harming my people right here where I live.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously you are telling me something which is, which is, I agree. If that's happening in the, then in the UK, then obviously I've got to be wary of things. And I agree how you feel towards Christianity. I've got no issues with that. But I agree. But still in America, there's a big threat coming from the other party. Unfortunately, in the UK, and I know some parts in New Zealand and Australia and in America, some of them are talking about Sharia law. Now
nobody is talking about Sharia law in America. Okay, you know who talks about Sharia law in America? Christians. They keep saying that that's happening, but you know who really wants Sharia law in America? The Christians. They just want to call it the Bible, and they want to do it here in America. They want children to be able to get married. They want women to be submissive, stay home, be quiet, not work, and be in complete control over men. They would love to bring back slavery and any kind of forced labor on anybody who is even just a shade darker than they are. And so I have a problem with Christianity because it's harming real people in my country right now because Christians want Sharia law in my country.
Well, yeah, obviously Christians do in a way. It's not Sharia. It wouldn't be Sharia law. It'd be they're taking you backwards, basically. They will be taking you backwards to the Dark Ages. I mean, I would say that, I wouldn't say the Dark Ages. I would say to ignorance.
Yes, they would love for us to live in an era of ignorance, for sure.
Absolutely, they will take you back to ignorance. But what I'm saying, my dear American friend, is that we do have a big problem on the rise. We do. Honest, I can see in the UK a civil war happening in the next 5-10 years. I mean, if that is left not treated, because I know how the Islamic faith work. I'm Lebanese. I lived in Lebanon. I live in the UK, obviously. Yeah, I lived most of my life in the UK, but I know how they work, how they think. They're pretty dangerous. They're pretty dangerous. I mean, we have our
Here's the
brothers.
thing: I can't have you keep talking like this because we're on TikTok. And what happens is,
yes.
It becomes Islamophobic after a while.
No,
and
I got
what
Islamic
I
friends.
keep trying to tell you that both of these religions are equally as dangerous. And you keep wanting to go back to Islam, but I'm an ex-Christian. I'm not going to speak on Islam with a person who was not Islamic, is not Islamic. I'm not going to speak on it because I was not.
Not all the
and I
Muslims are
am
bad.
not.
I'm talking about the religion itself, not the.
I don't talk on. I do not talk on Islam. I was not Islamic, and I'm not Islamic. If you want to talk about Christianity and the harm it has done, I will happily talk with you about
I'll
that.
tell you what harm Christianity brings. I mean, Christians are no angels compared to the other parties. There've been there's a lot of harm that went through history because of Christianity. You're talking about slaveries and some other things that, whenever you see a Christian preaching, you think, wow, what a religion, it's absolutely amazing. But suddenly when you delve deep into it and you start finding these little bits and pieces that are actually worrying, very worrying. You see people looking friendly and suddenly there's something not right in there. I've seen them.
Hang on 1 second. Let me say hello to our new guest, Lazarus. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 35.
And are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Yeah, I am.
All right, I'm going to drop you down. Jesus, thanks for coming up. I appreciate you. Lazarus, what did you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact words you used, but I got something that Christianity hurt you or it harmed you. So may I ask what's the thing?
It harms women and marginalized people. It is harmful to women. The whole book is written by men, to men, for men. Women in the book are just property and they are abused and erased.
Hey, Crystal, can I say something about what he just said?
Yes, and then Karhu has to say something too. So after you, Karhu, and then we'll go back to Lazarus. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. Okay, so I think what he was saying is that you were church hurt, and
I think so too. That's okay.
And I
just went right by it.
Right, and I feel like I needed to say that, Lazarus, a lot of us aren't Christians, not because we're church hurt. Honestly, I had a great time in church and met some great people that I'm still friends with to this day. A lot of us are atheists because we've read the Bible. I've read it 4 times, and we simply just don't believe because there's so many contradictions. And, it's just a silly book. But that's all I wanted to say about that, Crystal. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Karhu, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I know this guy. He talks Finnish. He's.
I didn't really like. I
am still talking. So if there's any need for translations or I can help.
Oh, okay.
Help you there.
All right, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Okay, Lazarus, go ahead. We can finish talking now. I just wanted to let both of them say what they want to say.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't really mean that. Obviously there are a lot of people who are church hurt, but the problem that I was going after is like what is harmful in Christianity, and I think I got the answer that you see as harmful. But I am a father. I'm right now outside at the lake with my daughter and my wife, and Bible tells me the way I should treat my wife is the way that Christ loved the church. So
you can call her a whore, huh?
Did Christ call the church whore?
Throughout the Bible, God calls the church a whore, and Jesus is God, right? He's the God of the Old Testament.
Didn't he say synagogue of Satan?
Oh yeah, he does say that too.
Yeah, but that isn't the church that Jesus is talking to. When Jesus is talking about church, it's the body of believers. But
I know. That's what God is doing when he calls his people a whore. He is talking about the church. When God of the Old Testament calls his people the whore, he's talking about the church. You can't as a Christian say when God is talking about his people in the Old Testament and he does a covenant with them, he's talking to us too as Christians because we're grafted in. And then when I tell you he called them a whore, you can't go, yeah, but that's not us. Yes, it is. You're either them all the time,
I'm not denying
or you're not them at all.
It.
Okay.
But okay.
Jesus calls the church hypocrites. I'm sorry. He calls the Pharisees, who are the head of the church. Okay, so they are part of the church. Okay, hypocrites, blind guys, whitewash, snakes, brood of vipers. He is constantly calling people in the church names. He's not a good guy. He's just not. But if he is the God of the Old Testament, he calls the church a whore so many times.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you that God calls. I'm not sure it's the actual word whore there, but
yeah, he does.
You seem to know the Bible, so the image that the Bible lays about the relationship between the church and God is like bride and groom, right?
Yes, and he believes that the bride should worship him for an eternity. He believes that women should be submissive to men, that it goes God, men, then women, that there is a hierarchy. Thanks for coming up, Tiny. Have a wonderful day. You guys make sure you're following Tiny Science, because he does like science and stuff. So that's why we like him. Anyway, so I don't want a God who wants me to worship him like that. I don't like Jesus. He's not a good character. He tells his mom basically to shut up. He calls a woman a bitch not once but twice. He uses women to finance him and his friends. And when a woman is pouring oil over him and he had an opportunity to take that perfumed oil, sell it, and feed the poor, he chose himself instead. That's not a God that's worthy of my worship.
Okay, but do you agree that if bride is unfaithful, then isn't the bride acting like whore?
No. I don't. I think that if you have a word for what a woman does and you don't have that same word for when a man does it, then you're a fucking misogynist, and I don't deal with that, okay? There is no word for when a man acts like that. There is no equivalent. It is a part of purity culture, and it's disgusting and disturbing. And one day, somebody's gonna look at your daughter and call her a whore, and you're gonna want to punch the motherfucker right in the face. But you're okay with calling other women a whore. You have no problem with that.
No, but I mean, if you're in a committed relationship, you're going to marry, you're engaged, and the other person in the relationship is unfaithful. Mm-hmm. Isn't that doing that, committing the adultery?
Listen, if you're a God and you're all good and all loving, then there should be no reason your people would want to worship another God, okay? If they keep running away to look for other gods, if they keep leaving you because you're swallowing them up whole, because you won't feed them, because when you do feed them, you give them so much they die. If you act like that as a God, yeah, I'm gonna be looking for another God. I'm gonna be looking for a nicer God. I'm gonna be looking for any God that will save me from you. And so the fact that you are saying it's okay for all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful God to treat human beings like this is it's wild to me. How is it okay for an all-loving God to ever look at a human who he created and talk to them like that? How is that okay? As a parent, would you ever in your life look at your daughter and call her names?
May I ask you, do you think that we people, we always know what's best for us?
No, I don't. That's why I think that a lot of people still believe in this Bible, even though it's antiquated, even though it's just as nonsensical as every other mythological book out there, because we don't always know what's best for us. Sometimes we have cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Sometimes we believe fantasies because it helps us cope with how hard life is. And this is fantasy. It's not true. It's mythological, and people believe it when they shouldn't.
Yeah, like I mean, I think we people, we have many like these gravings that may give us some like enjoyment when we take them, but it's not really doing good for us. So I believe that God actually wants us to have a good life, but
He wants men
God,
to. He doesn't care if women do.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. And then I think Sunny wanted to say something too.
You can go first, Sonny. It's fine.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask Lazarus. Is it okay for a woman to be unalived because she wasn't a virgin on her wedding day?
it's okay. Well, I can't say that I can take the place of judge. And
No. Let me rephrase that. I just want a yes or no answer. Do you think it is okay for a woman to be unalived because they think she's not a virgin on her wedding day? Just a yes or no.
if they think only, then not.
That's not yes or no. Please, sir, just yes or no.
It's a
You
straightforward
understand?
question.
You can't say a
Watch
yes or
this.
no.
Kimberly, watch this. Watch this. Yes, I can. Kimberly, ask me the same question.
Hey, Crystal, is it okay if a woman is unalived because she's not a virgin on her wedding day?
Oh, there is no circumstances under hell that is ever okay. Okay, like why would you kill somebody just because they had sex? Even if they were under contract, death would not be the appropriate punishment, Kimberly. That would, no. Maybe she has to pay some financial restitution. Maybe, she spends a little time in jail to think about what she did, but death is absolutely insane. And that's only if she's under contract. If she's not under contract, she should be able to do whatever she wants. Like,
that's the appropriate response for someone who actually cares about women, unlike God, who thought it was completely okay.
Okay, do you remember in the Bible when they brought this woman who had committed adultery to Jesus?
Yes, I do.
And they wanted to stone him.
Stone her, right?
And the law says that...
What does the law say?
The law says that both parties, when they are being caught in action, they must be both stoned. So they only brought the woman to Jesus. They did against the law.
What about David and his wife?
Wait. I want to stay right here. Sonny, I'll see you later. Come back if you want. I want to stay right here. So first of all, what was adultery in the Old Testament? What was the law on adultery?
It was punishable by death.
No, what was it? I'll help you out here. Adultery was when a woman cheated on her husband with anybody, or a husband slept with another man's wife. He could sleep with anybody else he wanted to. He could screw the maid right in front of his wives, and that was not adultery. And they could all be yelling, "No, stop!" And he could still do it. That was not adultery. Adultery was only if he did it to another man's wife. So, yes, both people had to be brought out Because he damaged another man's property, sir.
So do you think that a woman is man's property in Bible?
In the Bible, yes. Yes, absolutely. She is transferred from her father to her husband. In Numbers, it tells you that women do not own their own words. That if she gives a vow, even to God himself, and a father hears it and he does not agree with her vow, he can negate it. And if she is married, her husband can negate her own prayers.
I didn't quite get that, but...
So God said that women do not own their own words, that their fathers do and their husbands do. If I pray and my husband doesn't like my prayer, then the husband can negate it.
Husband can what?
He can take away my prayer to God. He can say, no, God.
Where does it say that?
Okay. Actually, let me pull it.
Because honestly, I never heard of this before.
This is in Numbers. Let me pull it up for you. Numbers.
Mikä on Elina Numbers suomeksi? Onko se sananlaskut?
Ai mikä?
Okay, we're going to go to Numbers chapter 30, okay? Then Moses said to the heads of
Is Numbers the book, because I don't know what is in Finnish.
It's the third book in the Bible. The third book in the Bible.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to chapter 30. Then Moses said to the heads of the tribes of the Israelites, this is what the Lord has commanded. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by a pledge, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. When a woman makes a vow to the Lord or binds herself by a pledge while within her father's house in her youth, and her father hears of her vow or her pledge by which she has bound herself and says nothing to her, then all her vows shall stand, and any pledge by which she has bound herself shall stand. But if her father expresses disapproval to her at the time that he hears of it, no vow of hers, no pledge of which she has bound herself shall stand, and the Lord will forgive her, because her father had expressed to her his disapproval. If she marries while obligated by her vows or any thoughtless utterance of her lips, they never describe men's words like that. Isn't that funny? By which she has bound herself, and her husband hears of it and says nothing to her at the time that he hears, then her vow shall stand, and her pledges by which she has bound herself shall stand. But if at that time that her husband hears of it, he expresses disapproval to her, then he shall nullify the vow by which she was obligated, or that thoughtless utterance of her lips by which she bound herself, and the Lord will forgive her. And then it goes on. But it's telling these people that women's prayers are not their own, that their fathers and their husbands own the very prayers that come out of their mouths.
Well, I wouldn't call
That's not
that
a God
prayer,
who loves
actually. If you pledge something to God, it's not really a prayer like you would pray, God help me. It's not that a woman can't ask for help from God, but it's if I make. Are you
really arguing the semantics over whether I vow to God is praying to Him or not? When what I'm telling you is that I, as a woman, do not own them. That my father or my husband does? Do you not see that that's the part I'm talking about and not how the word is used? It's vow. Okay, we'll go vow. I don't own my own vows. There. Does that fit your comfort zone better?
Yeah, it does. Well,
Okay, I don't own my own vows.
do you know in the Bible there were some men who gave like really bad vows to God?
I don't care. A man should not rule over my vows. That means God didn't love me. He didn't trust me. My words aren't good enough for him. And the fact that you are raising a daughter and you don't understand how this causes her to be marginalized is very disturbing to me. Now, it sounds like you just got in your car. Go drive safely, because I don't want you to get in an accident with your wife or daughter in the car or anything. I'm going to drop you down from the live. But the fact that you can't understand that a vow was a prayer because you're talking to God. The fact that you don't understand that that means I am not loved the same way, because if God loved me the same way, my words would matter to him just as much as they matter coming from a man. I don't know what to do with that, sir. Hey, nerd, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Crystal?
I'm doing good. What's new?
Oh, not a whole lot. I'm just working, but I wanted to mention that in the Gospel of Thomas, which I know not all Christians accept the Gospel of Thomas, but it mentions Mary Magdalene and how, well, first Peter, because, you know, upstanding guy that he is, he said, let Mary leave us, for women are not worthy of life. Jesus said, I myself will lead her in order to make her male, so that she too may become a living spirit resembling you males. For every woman who will make herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven.
This is crazy.
So we're not worthy of life, and in order to enter heaven, we have to grow a wing.
It's so crazy, right? And then a lot of them, you know, will be Catholic or whatever, and they'll say, well, we don't go, sola scriptura, right? And then they'll go, well, you know, Thomas Aquinas. Thomas Aquinas thought that women were deformed men.
Yeah, that we just were born without the external male genitalia.
So I'm so sorry, but no matter how you look at this, you men like to erase us, you like to dismiss us, you like to quiet us, and you want to control us. And that book and that religion and that Jesus of yours perpetuates all of that and condones all of that. And the fact that you're raising a daughter, it just really hurts my feelings that you are sitting here going, it's okay that her vows are being able to be taken away by her father and her husband. What?
Yeah, well, and one of the reasons that the Gospel of Thomas likely was not included in the biblical canon is because the fact that Mary was transfigured into a male so that she could enter heaven demonstrates that she had a discipleship role within that group of people, and the church, you know, they're not very fond of allowing women to take center stage unless you're learning a lesson at her expense.
Wow.
And as Trish said, it also shows that there was a level of affection between her and Jesus. And they like to maintain this idea that he was a virgin, that he, you know, didn't sully himself with desires of the flesh.
It's so weird how hung up that whole religion is on sex. They're so fucking hung up on it, and because of it, everything it has all done is perpetuate horrible boundaries and horrible I don't know, like just patterns in sexuality. It's what the fuck is wrong with those people? And I was one, so that was me. I believe that shit too, by the way.
Well, like with the sexuality thing, you know, the verses that they typically point to as being a demonstration that God doesn't like the Rainbow Brigade is taken very much out of historic context. It actually was really pretty common during that time period for a young man to be given to an older man to be mentored. And part of that relationship was expected to be sexual. And so these boys were being given to older men to be used for physical pleasure. And so the reason that law is in there was because it was starting to become a less popular practice, and people were arguing against it and considering it immoral. And so what that scripture is actually saying is that it is not appropriate for you to take this person who is later going to be viewed with a certain social status and make them subordinate to you the way that you would lie with a woman. And so it was about social standing. It wasn't actually about homosexuality.
Yeah, I think that, Rabbi Hanna has explained that pretty well to me too before. It uses the word mishkaveh, and people think it means to just lay with a woman when it actually means, to hold them down in a submissive way.
To make them, to reduce them to the role of a woman, because women were property.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, I just because it was relevant to the conversation, I wanted to bring those up.
I appreciate that. I really love learning new things, and I love it when we get to share stuff like that, so that my viewers can also learn new things. So,
yep.
I think that my it's just messed up for some reason. That's what's going on. Sorry, my YouTube messed up for a second.
No, you're totally fine. But yeah, you can go ahead and drop me down. I just wanted to pop up for a quick minute to throw that in there.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you're following Nerd. They are amazing and on a lot of panels and lives, and very, very educated. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. Nerd Unleashed.
Thanks, Crystal.
Everybody. Well, you guys, I want to stay live for about another hour, but we got to have conversation. We got to keep tapping that screen. We're finally at 20,000, so that's good. Yeah, if you have anything you want to talk about, you want to talk about the Auntie Sermon today, you want to talk about the conversation we just had with the MOG, we could talk about that. Whatever's on your mind, guest box is open. Come on up. Let's have a conversation.
Hey, Crystal.
Hey, it's funny. Wait, I have to tell you guys something. Somebody corrected me, I guess, when I was doing my sermon over on YouTube and said it's the temple of On, not Own. But actually, the funny thing is, it is spelt like On, but I'm 99% sure that I looked that one up and it's pronounced Own. So I think they're correcting me, incorrectly. If that makes sense. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I really enjoyed the sermon today, and it's funny how, I know man wrote the Bible, but funny, I can't remember the woman's name, but, she wasn't worthy until she started following the cult.
Yeah.
That's just,
but according to the scripture, she was, right? If we look at the scripture itself, she's worthy. Nobody ever says she's not. Nobody tells her to stop worshiping her gods. Nobody asks her to stop going to temple. Joseph just accepts her, and their lives merge together. Only after do they start saying, we have to change who she was. Yes, Kimberly has birds. Grana. You can come up, Grana, if you want to. Schley, Ashra, anybody wants to come up, come on up. Here's some other comments from earlier. Are you atheist? When I was doing the sermon. I know, it can be confusing because it says I'm an atheist and then I'm up here doing a sermon. So redo your repost if it's been more than... Oh, okay, yes. If you guys have done a repost and it's been over 30 minutes, if you could hit that share button and then repost it, I'd really appreciate it. That really helps. So hit that repost. Then he says, so Joseph was real. Because I'm reading this sermon about the story about Joseph. And so automatically Christians go, see, you're admitting that they're real. I don't even know if I I guess I think Joseph wasn't real. Like, he probably wasn't real either, right? I know a few of the people in the Old Testament are real, but not the main characters. Those people weren't real. I have a bonus edition that should be out later today of Auntie Sermons, the podcast. If you haven't listened to this week's thank you, is also posted. Get on out there. The link is in my bio. And also, if you forget and you want to look later, it's just anywhere that you listen to sermons, AUNTIE, Auntie Sermons podcast. We're going through the Bible, writing a sermon for every woman, named or unnamed, in the entire Bible. And we're going through Genesis right now on the podcast. We're up to episode 16. We've got a bonus episode out there of an extended edition on Eve. And this week I'm going to be doing an extended edition on Cain's wife. So that should be up later tonight, I think. And then next week's Auntie Sermon main episode, let's see who that is. I forget. Who is next? Let me look. Women in Genesis list. Oh, it's going to be Leah and Rachel. That's a good one. That's a good one. So I'll probably perform that one live on Monday, and then the podcast will drop on Wednesday. So so check that out. Hey, when you go and listen to my sermons do what Schley did. Everybody be a Schley for the day. Go and leave me a 5-star review, and then leave me a comment, because it gives me dopamine. It gives me dopamine. You guys want to know how to give me dopamine?
We all need some dopamine every once in a while.
It's the right. I mean, it's just the best hit of dopamine when you see somebody has left you a comment. You're like, oh, sweet of me comment.
Yeah. It's the best.
Yes, I love it so much. I got some compliments for my music this week, and that made me so happy. Listen, I know, I'm very well aware there's a world we live in right now where AI is evil right now because of the way that it is being handled, okay? And so because of that, people a lot of times want none of us to use it at all, and I fight with that, and I might end up eventually just not using AI at all anymore. It's a moral quandary for me right now because, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit why, and I hope you'll understand where I'm coming from. And if this isn't a good enough reason why, my DMs are open. Just be nice, because I am really thinking about all of this, right? I live in California, and I've been told my whole life that I have to conserve water. I have to conserve water because there's always droughts in California. There are literal places where people can't get water. So when you brush your teeth, you turn off the water. You don't wash your cars by hand anymore. You go in and have your car washed. You don't let water drip. You are very conservative with your water. And then as I grew older, I started to understand about corporate greed. And I started to understand that the people who were telling me to conserve water were large corporations who use a lot of water. And they don't want us to look at them. So they make you start looking at yourself, and they start telling you you're the problem. You're the one, you do the saving, you do it. And they make us fight with each other. And so to me, like, the Great Water War started. Should you drink bottled water? Should you get a refillable bottled water? Means that people are taking our precious water resource and selling it back to us and making a huge profit off it when it should just come out of our fucking tap, right? But a lot of people can't get it out of their tap because bottled watering companies are taking billions of gallons or whatever. I'm sure that's exaggeration. Then there's the almond farmers who use a great deal of it so that people can have almond milk in the morning in their coffee or latte. That uses a great deal of our precious water here in California. And a lot of other things that have to do with corporations. And here I am feeling guilty at night because I can't fix a leak on my faucet and I'm wasting water. And the same kind of conversations are happening again over AI. Corporations are going to use AI to advance themselves, to become richer, to become more powerful, and they're telling you not to use it. And they're telling you to fight with each other over not using it. And they're telling you it's about the water. Again, they're telling you it's about the water too, by the way. They actually don't need water to cool their systems. There's other cooling devices out. There's other ways to cool, but it's more expensive. So they take your water and then we're supposed to fight over it with each other. Now, by no means am I justifying using AI. Actually, I really admire people who are like, I take a hard stance on that and I don't use it. And I admire you because I believe people who stand up for something are the kind of people that I care about. I stand up for things all the time that I really believe in and stuff. But I can't pay a whole band to put my lyrics to music. And so I've used AI for that. And I've always been honest about it. I've never lied about it. I've never tried to pretend that I'm the singer or the musician or anything like that. But I understand if people don't like it. And I really get it. And I just want you guys to know, the people who are out there who are 100% anti-AI, I actually do hear you. There's something that I take very serious, and I actually talk about it in therapy because I don't know exactly where I stand on it yet. It feels more complicated and more nuanced to me than all AI is evil. It feels more nuanced to me than that.
Hey, I just want to say something. You know what? Hey, birds, can we? I am one of the people who are anti-AI. I won't use it at all. Hey, birds. Sorry. But I just want to say none of us are perfect. And, you know, oh my goodness, guys. I'm going to quote the Bible here, but those of us without sin should cast the first stone.
Be the first to cast the stone.
Yeah.
Well, I just want people to know that I understand that's a real, and that actually, to me, this proves there's no God, right? Because we talk about how moral objectivity and moral subjectivity. Okay, you objective God moralists, what is the objectively moral correct thing to do when it comes to bottled water or AI? You can't tell me because it's not in your Bible. You can only tell me what you think. Okay, you guys. Who are my friendlies in chat? Put a 1 in chat if you're my friendly. Okay, real quick, I need to see all my friendlies in chat. Somebody put 1s in chat if you're my friendly, okay? All right, see Rob there. Good to see you, Rob. Welcome in, Asher, Grana. All right, you guys. No agree is in the box. I can't do it alone. Somebody coming up to help me? Someone coming up? Is that good?
Oh boy, this guy.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Slade.
Hi. I loved your Auntie sermon this week. I'm so excited about it. I shared it to my stories, but everybody has to go listen. Crystal's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mezzo, I agree, buddy. I agree. Don't agree, welcome to the show.
Gracias.
What do you want to talk about today?
Well, you were talking about AI there. I actually think that AI is demonstrating why it's more important than ever that we rely on our intuitions for truth.
Because in Scripture, in the Bible, in Revelation, it talks about the Antichrist being able to perform basically counterfeit signs and wonders to deceive many. And we're living in an age of AI where I think in the future, your average atheist will not be able to tell the difference between reality and truth because of AI.
Your average atheist, but Christians will. Christians are really good at being able to tell the difference between reality and what's imaginary. They're really.
Well, that's because we'll have the spirit of truth, as Jesus says, it dwells within us. But that's what I wanted to say.
What about critical thinking? What about teaching kids how to critically think?
Well, that's right down a Christian's alley right there.
Huh.
Ain't no critical thinking like Christian critical thinking. I think if people thought critically, there would not be any atheists.
Okay, here's my question then. And this is a question that Mama Bash is using right now. So hats off to Mama Bash, and everybody make sure you're following Mama Bash. Even though she's not here, go find her and follow her. Why do you guys have to gaslight yourselves or us all the time then on every single thing?
Gaslight? Maybe you could.
Yeah.
First of all, let me make sure I know what gaslighting means, because I thought I did one time and apparently I didn't. So could you define gaslighting?
Yeah, let me. I think she's still live right now. I don't know if, but let me just define it on the thing because she has it written up there. Define gaslighting.
Who? Thinker?
Mama Bash. Also, do
Oh.
you think you could tell the difference between AI and reality every single time because you're a Christian?
No, not necessarily, but I do think that there are certain things that the Christian, the Holy Spirit
Hang on, let me let my cat out.
kind of guide you in.
Come on.
I'll give you the perfect example. I kept being told by multiple people, even sometimes Christians. Well, actually, I wasn't told much by Christians, but it was told that Christians, scholars agreed that the Bible taught that you could own a human being as property. And I kind of just took that, I guess, at face value.
We're not doing that. No, agree.
And then-
We're not doing your stupid argument today. We're going to go
what I'm
back.
saying
I'm going to
is
keep it linear. We're going back to
intuitively-
gaslighting and what the definition of gaslighting is. You asked,
Okay,
I
fair
pulled it
enough.
up. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where an abuser systematically makes a victim doubt their own memory, perception of reality, or sanity. The goal is to gain control and make the victim wholly dependent on the perpetrator. So basically what it is I will read you something and you will tell me that's not what it says. That's not what it means. I could pull up the definition. I could pull up the Hebrew. You'll say no, those are not the droids you're looking for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say that I find that to be the case. Atheists gaslighting Christians more so than Christians gaslighting atheists.
But you're lying right now when you say that, because we will read you the scripture for what it says.
I could give you a specific example. And it's really strange, too.
I've watched you
I could give you a
personally.
specific example. Yeah,
I've watched you
atheists.
personally do it, so I don't need you to give me an example of somebody else. I've personally watched you do it.
Okay, well, maybe you're gaslighting me right now because you're saying that I've done it and I don't recall ever doing it. Okay,
Well,
but that
like when
sounds
you
like
keep
you're
trying to
gaslighting
bring
me.
up that people were not property in the Old Testament, even though it says you could pass them down as property, money was considered property. That was the word used for it there. And you tried to redefine it.
wasn't.
And no matter how many Hebrew
Not in the
scholars
Hebrew, it
come
wasn't.
up and tell you that that's not what it means, that it does mean property, that you could pass down for generations, you try to gaslight Hebrew
I could
scholars
give you an
into saying that
academic who
that's not
agrees
what it
with me.
means. I don't want to. I've talked to
Murray
Dr. Joshua
agrees
Bowen
with me.
about this. I've talked to Rav about this. I've talked to Rabbi
Dr.
Hannah about
Abdu
this.
Murray agrees
I do
with
not
me.
care. I don't
Okay.
care.
Well, I'm just saying that I can find academics who
don't
agree with me
care.
on this too. Okay.
I don't care.
But-
you
But
gaslight.
I mean, we can have that
I bet you, is he
conversation.
a
I'd love
Christian?
that.
Dr. Abdu Murray.
Yes, he's a Christian, and he agrees
Yes,
with
he's.
me.
So he's not a Hebrew scholar. He's a Christian scholar.
Well, that's not what I've
Okay,
been
so
told.
there you
I'm
go.
told
So you
all
just
academics
gaslit me again. Do you
agree with-
understand
No,
how you
I'm
do
being
it?
the one-
You twist stories, you manipulate stories into trying to make fit your narrative instead of just being honest with what is happening. I have a Christian scholar who believes I'm right.
You're
Would have been the
gaslighting me
absolute
now.
truth. No, I'm not.
You're
You
gaslighting
are.
me. Yeah, you are.
I did not manipulate
was
one
told
bit
by
of the
Johnny
truth.
B.
I'm sorry.
I was told by
Schley-
Johnny B.
Schley,
What?
were you sitting
I
there?
was told by Johnny B. that no
Johnny B
academic
is not a
would agree
Hebrew
with me.
scholar.
He claims he
I'm
is.
sorry.
He claims he can read Hebrew. He's an atheist.
But that
He's
doesn't make him
alive
a
right now.
scholar. That
Well,
doesn't
he
make him a
claims to
scholar.
be fluent in reading Hebrew and understanding ancient text.
Listen, Johnny B is very smart,
Maybe
but
he's
he does
trying
not
to
agree with
gaslight
you.
us all.
He does not agree with you, and you name dropping all the time does not support your argument. No
Well,
degree.
let me ask you something.
There's not
no,
one.
I'm saying
You
to
have
disagree.
named since the day I've met you on this app. You've done nothing but name drop Matt Dillahunty and Richard Dawkins and Aaron
Matt
Roth.
Dillahunty does agree with me
That
on
doesn't support anything. That's not an argument.
Dr. Josh Bowen agrees with me on some things. Okay, so when
I happen to be friends with a Grammy Award winner
you're
and
wrong.
recently
What's the
nominated
difference?
for an Emmy. Did you guys hear that? Pinkbeard was nominated for an Emmy. Now I'm gonna name drop that. How
Well,
about
whoop the dang do. Who's Pinkbeard?
Oh, come on. Be kind. Come off it. Come off it, no degree. Why don't you have a real
know who
conversation? Let's not
Pinkbeard
talk
is.
about any of
trying
your
to.
friends. So, like, make a valid point. What is your point? Why are
Okay,
you
so why
For
was I here was
Spider-Man.
to point out the AI thing. Because she was saying that AI,
Okay.
I think AI
And you
is
still
showing
haven't
that people
shown
are
me
gonna
that
need
your
their
objective
intuitions
morality
more
can
so.
tell us whether using AI is morally good or morally bad, which proves to me you don't have objective
Oh,
morals.
I don't know. Yeah, you can use.
Right.
I think you
Because
can
you don't have
use
objective
AI to
morals,
your
you guys. He just admitted he
said it.
doesn't know, and that means he does
That's
not have
gaslighting.
objective morals.
That's
Thank you. No,
gaslighting.
it's
That's
not.
gaslighting.
You
Yeah, 'cause you're saying
Nope,
something-
you guys.
You're
I
trying
just
to make me
want no
believe
degree.
that I said something I didn't.
Just be no degree.
That's
I'm sorry,
gaslighting
sir,
central
but when
right
I
there.
ask you whether, and you say I have objective morality, and I ask you a moral question, and you can't answer, then you don't have
I
objective
never said
morals.
I had objective morality. You never asked me
Yes,
that.
you have. I didn't ask
You
you that
never
here,
asked
but
me
you've said
today.
it before. I didn't have to ask you today. I've listened to you talk many times, no degree. You're on
Well,
every
you
line.
assume that
Are
I
you
think
kidding me?
objectives are moral? You assume
Oh, no,
that I
you've
think
told-
morals are
You've
objective?
said that before. You've said that before. Okay, so
Who
you
have I
don't. You
told
don't
it
believe
to
God
then?
has objective morals and that He gives you those truths. You don't. You don't believe in objective morality.
You asked if I had subjective or objective morals.
Do
That depends on
you
how you
believe in
define it.
objective morality?
The answer it's either yes or
Depends
it's no.
on how.
No.
Not necessarily.
Yes or no.
You're so good.
Not because they're two atheists
is
define
so
subjective
funny.
morals. I'll explain to you if y'all want to have a conversation.
That's
If you don't want to have a
gaslighting.
conversation,
To
you don't
say
have to.
that's gaslighting.
But I
That
don't
is such
think that y'all
gaslighting.
want to have a
Atheists have
conversation.
different definitions than we do.
You can say
I'll
yes or
explain
you
it.
can
No,
say
I'm not
no, and then you can explain why you said yes or no.
If I say yes or no, do I get to explain right after, or are you going to immediately interrupt?
No, you can go ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay. So, I believe, yes, we have objective morals or objective.
So I was right. So you acted like an idiot for no
Now,
reason because I was right.
The reason why it depends is I've had atheists actually say that even from God's mind, because it would be dependent upon God's mind, which means it would be subjective. So they'll say even if the morals are dependent on God, it's
That's
still
what
subjective.
objective
It
and
depends
subjective
on
morality
what you mean.
means. No, it doesn't. That's gaslighting. That is gaslighting right there, okay? And let me explain why. No degree.
No, I'm not gaslighting. This is what atheists have told me.
Let me explain why.
Well, you're gaslighting that I'm gaslighting.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Come off the word and let her talk, okay? Just
objective and subjective have definitions, and those are the definitions, and you changing them to make your God fit the definitions is gaslighting. So hey, let me say hi to the next guest. Let me say hi to the next guest. The Goblin, welcome to the show. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes? You have to come off mute, the Goblin. Oh, you didn't mean to come up? Okay. Okay.
I'm just curious if No Degree has any original thoughts of his own, because it feels very much like so-and-so said, and my friend this said, and atheists say. Very interesting. I'd be interested.
Cherry-picking fallacies, exact word fallacies, and presentism fallacies. I deconstructed from the view that the Bible ever taught that you could own a human being as property. So, if you define slavery as
to
the
make
owning
yourself
of another
feel
human being as
better
property,
about it,
the Bible doesn't legislate that. So I could put it in an original deductive syllogism. Premise 1, slavery is a human owning another human as property. Premise 2, the Bible does not legislate humans owning other humans as property.
Yes, it does.
The Bible does
I
not
reject premise 2. I reject premise 2. I reject premise 2.
Approve of
I
slavery.
reject premise 2.
One's in chat if you reject it.
Okay, well then that premise there is what my new argument centers on.
I know. Everybody I've met rejects premise 2 with you. And they tell you that the Hebrew says money there, and it says because they are your money, which meant property. And the fact that you think, well, money it doesn't mean property,
that's
you know.
That's actually not the case.
It does say that.
No, that's actually not the case.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, actually, because you're talking about there, Exodus 21, 22, 21. That passage there is actually, when I did a Hebrew deep dive, is more likely referring to a Hebrew because it uses the word avenge, which applies to the avenger of blood. So that would be more dealing with an indentured servant that is, apparently there seems to be some sort of altercation and there's this fight. And this is what is supposed to happen. That's not talking about a foreign slave. But in Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, it's talking about purchasing foreign slaves. That's different. It describes the Hebrew there in the terms of money.
I'm live. I don't have time for your fucking nonsense. I asked for something very specific.
Crystal, you're not muted.
The word property doesn't mean
this
property.
Is an original argument.
I'm sorry.
Well, it actually means.
That's how I talk to ChatGPT. I told you that.
It means possession.
I told you that's what I do. Like, fuck him for not answering my question.
So dead.
Well, y'all wanted an original argument. This is an original, so far unbeatable argument.
We're having a moment. No degree.
Did you know that Rabbi Hannah asks her ChatGPT if it's okay about the way I treat my children?
I don't think it is okay, but we can talk about that another time.
Okay. He says it's okay. He told me I can.
Oh my gosh.
I got consent.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have a conversation later. I won't say that out loud.
Yes, Tiny, please do. Please post that. I'd love to see. Okay, here it is. Listen. Let's say it doesn't mean property, okay? Let's do that. Does it mean something you can buy, inherit, and pass down to your children forever?
Yes.
Because that's exactly what Leviticus says, right? It says you can argue what the English word is, but excuse me, God damn, oh my God. Okay, I can't, okay. I'm trying to have a calmer Crystal, and I'm not gonna be calmer with him up here, so I'm just gonna get rid of him. Because I was doing good, I've been doing really good since my crash out on that girl.
Oh man, it's just.
But
so
I will
weird.
crash out on my chat GPT. I will crash out on my chat GPT.
I just don't. I just
Way
don't
to know your
understand.
boundary or your limitations, Crystal. That guy is just insufferable in every single way. Like in every way. So good on you for keeping calm and getting rid of his ass.
I want to say something. I want to let Schlang and Carhu speak, but I want to say this really quick. The fact that he just admitted that Leviticus says that you can buy, inherit, pass down to your children forever is whether you call that word property or not, that is describing what property is. That is what property is. So you can call it what any word makes your little ding-a-ling tingle better, but the bottom line is you are describing what property is when you say you can buy it, you can inherit it, you can pass it down to your children forever. This isn't a debate about vocabulary, it's a debate about legal rights. If I can buy you, own you permanently, and leave you to my children in my will, I have property rights over you. So your point is moot at that. So go ahead, Shley, what did you want to say?
He says in chat, still no atheist has been able to help me. No degree, you don't want help, you little weirdo. You're a child. Okay, you need to grow up.
Awesome. Thank you, Tiny.
Because you're still apologizing for the atrocities in that dusty old book because it makes you feel warm and fuzzy, like a little blanket. Like your little child's blanket that you had when you were a kid, okay? Like, you need to grow up, buddy. Think about what you're actually saying. You're apologizing.
I would talk to him, but he makes it so you can't talk. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't even get a word in edgeways, right?
Help me with my deconstruction and help me reconstruct. I think that we need to work on you being honest first.
Yeah, that's gonna take.
I just don't think anyone's gonna believe you are sincere when you behave the way that you do. And nobody lets you talk because everything coming out of your mouth is just bullshit lies.
What up, guys?
Hey, how are you today? Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
24.
All right. And are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Yeah.
All right. So what brings you up today? What do you want to talk about?
I'd like to question why you're an atheist.
Okay, do you know what special pleading is?
Tell me.
Special pleading is when you say, this rule is always like this, except for me. You make a special rule for yourself, okay? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was a Christian for over 50 years, and there was many things that led up to my deconstruction, but the one that like kind of solidified it for me was this. One day I realized I don't believe any of the stories from that time period about mythological gods except for this one. And I have no good reason to believe this story over any of those other stories, because I'm sure you don't believe those other stories either. You don't probably believe in Hercules or Hades or Methuselah or any of those other mythological beings, do you?
Well, the difference is there's over 500 witnesses of Jesus.
Can you name one?
Other gods.
Can you name one?
At least 12 of his disciples. Mary.
No, they weren't the 500 case. They were not the 500.
I can't name 500.
They were not the 500 that saw him after his resurrection.
Yes, they were.
I'm sorry, what?
I said yes, they were. His mother
Okay,
Mary.
it's very hard to hear you. Are you driving right now?
No.
Oh, okay, it's very hard to hear you. Do you have Bluetooth or something in?
No.
Can you put something on? Maybe it would be easier to hear you because it's really hard to hear you.
I don't have Bluetooth.
Okay, I don't know if we will be able to have this conversation because unfortunately it's very, very difficult to hear you. I'm going to bring Tulip up. Hang on one second. Tulip, are you a Christian?
No, I'm a friendly.
Okay, did you want to talk to Case? I saw you say, I got this.
Yeah, okay. So,
good.
So if you truly believe that there were the 500 witnesses, please tell me the actual accounts of who witnessed Jesus being resurrected. Because you said Mary, correct?
Mary was one, yes.
Okay, so which version?
Even the Roman soldiers that crucified him saw him.
Okay, what are their names?
We have no writings from them.
Yeah, we do. It's in the Gospels.
Okay.
That's Christians' accounts, not by them.
That's a claim, not evidence. What names do we have? What names
No,
do we
because
have?
were the Romans Christians? They saw him.
The Romans didn't write about. Christians said that Romans saw this. No Roman said, I saw this.
Well, multiple authors say the exact same thing, so how do you not believe that?
They're all Christians. They're all making the claim.
So the only person that mentioned that there were 500 so hold on. So the only person that mentioned that there were allegedly 500 witnesses was Paul. Paul wasn't there when Jesus was resurrected. These accounts, the 4 Gospels, were created 80 years after Jesus' resurrection, allegedly. And what you're saying is these have witnessed and these accounts did happen because it's written in the Bible. This is a claim, not evidence. Not to mention, each of the Gospels have completely different interpretation of Jesus' resurrection, including who were the witnesses, what his last words were, including what was happening during that time period. So you cannot say that you know this is a 100% account when all 4 Gospels contradict each other on them.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's what I believe.
Do you have a rebuttal for that?
A rebuttal?
Yeah, because I just said that because 4 of the Gospels contradict each other.
Case 3, before you just say what you believe, could you at least address anything Tulip said?
Well, I am, actually, if 2 women will let me talk. Okay. So, there is no...
Okay, misogynistic little boy.
What the fuck was that? You want to try that sentence again? Hold on. Case, let's try that sentence again. Have some respect.
Mind you, I'm your age, buddy. Have a little bit more demure.
I don't really care, because according to the Bible, you're supposed to let me talk.
Fuck you.
So
I don't go by your Bible.
Yeah, that's
your Bible is stupid. You can't even prove it's true.
Yeah, you're yelling at us because you're deflecting. You're deflecting because your little ego is hurt because I pointed out issues within the Bible and you have nothing besides the fact, well, you need to listen to me because I'm a man. That just shows that you're conceding to the notion that you have nothing to back up your sources to then say that they don't.
You said the Bible's true because the Bible says so, and then you said, shut up, women. What a joke. Are you okay?
Hey, guys, Hey, you guys, hang on, I got something for him.
Miss me, now you gotta kiss me. You interrupt my sentence, call it just a thought. Say you love strong women till you get caught. You want a queen who keeps it light and sweet.
But bow down, little man, and kiss my feet.
You're misinformed, misguided, mistaken. And that charm, boy, I know you're faking. With that misogyny.
You ain't the man you think you be. Okay, I'm sorry. You guys can continue your conversation, but fuck misogyny.
So if we're going to have a respectful dialogue, can we at least address that there is a disagreement between me and you? You believe that this is fully true, and I'm saying that there are contradictions in the Bible. Can we at least address those?
Well, yeah, and I was trying to address my point of view, but you don't let me talk.
Okay, go on.
So, there is no other historical figure that anyone questions. I mean, Julius Caesar lived before Jesus, with less documentation, people have no problem believing.
More documentation, more
Here's the
documentation.
problem. The reason people deny Jesus is because they are afraid.
Wait, you made a claim, and that's what you keep doing. I'm sorry. When you make a claim and it's wrong, we're going to address it. We're going to solidify it, and then you could gish gallop onto your next claim. There is more documentation for Julius Caesar than there is for Jesus Christ. We have coins with his face on it.
We actually have his writings that he wrote himself.
We have his writings.
Not to mention, I actually went to the location where he was cremated. I was at the location. I have photos of the.
We have busts that he sat for.
We have the actual. We actually have the. We actually still have the remains of the not remains, the old structure of the building where he was actually was stabbed. There's still remnants of it. There's still
no problem with that. But so we have 2026 years ago. The year in our Lord is when Jesus died. So.
No, he didn't. He didn't die 2026 years ago.
Not to mention, you're pivoting over the fact that I just made a claim and I haven't even showed you the evidence that your four gospels are contradictory.
You're willing to use a claim that he's on a coin, but when I say that we're in the year 2026 of our Lord, you don't believe that. So
okay, Case, hang on. Let me clarify why I laughed when you said that. Okay, to be fair to you. Okay, first of all, it's supposed to be going back to the day he was born, not the day he died. Okay, and second of all, that date wasn't. Excuse me, please let me finish. I'm just clarifying to you why I laughed when you said that.
Obviously, you're not intelligent if you think that's.
We did not start making calendars the day he was born, by the way. Okay, and not all the world goes by 2026. It is this year for people who use the Gregorian calendar. But there are many calendars in this world. And if your God was one God with one people, we would all use the same calendar. So I laugh when people say that because it's very ignorant of you. It was made up by a Catholic person. That's why we use it. And it was made up in the, hundreds of years later. We don't use it because it's true. We use it because Christians wanted us to.
And not to mention he's doing a huge pivot over the fact that I am pointing out the contradictions in the Bible, and he's just going, "Well, we have more evidence of Jesus than Julius Caesar." You're not even.
I know, because he can't address anything you're saying because you're bringing too many facts to the table, Tulip. He can't do that.
His ears aren't made to listen to us.
We are letting you talk. You just aren't going. You're not going about the topic. That's the issue. We're going to interrupt you when you are not going on topic.
You guys don't have husbands, right?
And that's
that makes us have value. Oh my goodness!
Do you know how stupid you sound right now when you said that? You sound so dumb. Okay,
Do you have a wife?
You sound so dumb.
Do you have a wife?
Yeah.
At 24, that's sad. Honestly, that's not gonna last long.
Honestly, and I feel sorry for her. I really do.
Yeah.
Is she there? Can we talk to her, please? I just want to get a pulse check.
I'm actually at work right now, but I would love to introduce you to her when I get home.
And not to mention the fact that you think that that's a rebuttal and you think that because we don't have husbands, that means we're less than is honestly also misogynistic.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that since you don't have a husband,
shut up. What did you say it for?
I'm going to have to guide you since you don't have a husband.
Case 3. You couldn't guide me out of a paper bag, okay? You haven't even studied your Bible. I could go verse for verse with you. You couldn't even begin to handle the amount of knowledge I have that you don't have, okay? So I wouldn't even try that with me, sir. You couldn't begin.
Thank you for
I could name a name right now and you won't even know who the fuck I'm talking about or whether she's really in the Bible or not.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I can see the mental illness in your eyes.
Ishtar, is she real or is she in the Bible or not? Is Ishtar in the Bible or not?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. How about Asenath?
Asenath, yes.
Yeah, who is she?
I believe she was the wife of somebody.
Oh, good job. Nope, who is she? You don't get to do that. Oh, it's a guy. He's probably his son.
I mean, he was Elisha.
Who is she?
Who's Elisha?
No.
We do this all day long.
Yeah, he's a
who killed John
prophet,
the
pumpkin.
Baptist? Who kills John the Baptist?
Hey, you don't get a dish, gal. You did it again, by the way. You're such a little child, okay? What you do is when you can't answer a question, you throw 3 more at us. That's what you kept doing to Tulip. You were like, I can't address anything you just said because that's all facts. So I'm just going to say 5 other fucking things.
Oh,
and it has nothing to do with what you just said. No, I dropped him. I dropped him. I'm not going to keep talking to men who will not engage because we're women. Are you
That was a
fucking kidding
debate
me?
case. Come on, be real. That
even
was
a
not a debate.
You weren't even addressing any of my points when I
You ran
mentioned
from
about the
Tulip.
Gospels. You completely ran, and I was going to bring up actual verses that contradict each other, but you wouldn't fucking listen because you pivoted so fucking to the left about Julius Caesar because you had
He said,
nothing.
"Nuh-uh, shut up, girl."
You said, but you need to bow down to
What
my
a
authority
weasel.
because of my man. You go.
You probably don't have a husband, bitch. I've been married 30 years. And you know what? My husband's going to tell you he has never been able to control what comes out of my mouth or what I do, and he would never try. He didn't marry me because he wanted to control me. He married me because he knew I was a badass woman and he wanted to be with that, okay?
That's right, A girls.
Make me a
You can say
sandwich.
thank you.
Damn, I
Case.
was going to try to screenshot that so I could send it to his imaginary wife.
I might be able to get it for you later because I see all the comments. After the show, I can see comments.
Oh, you
But
can.
give
Can
me
you
a
even
break.
see the muted ones? Do they show back up?
I think so. I'll look
That's
later. I
crazy.
think I can because it shows me like all the comments from the show.
I hope he's still. Did you mute him or block him? Or did you block
Just
him?
muted, I think.
Oh, because I really want him to to still listen to me in the comments about the contradictions within the Bible, because a big one within it is in Matthew, that talked about the earth shaking and that there were people that came from the tomb into the town. Now, if you're making a claim about how the 500 witnesses would have been able to see those people, that's a huge phenomenon that should have been written down for all the world to hear. Especially since this story was allegedly one of the biggest of its time, because a man rose from the dead 3 days later. But also, you're also forgetting that other people rose from the dead as well that day. Oh, sorry. The other people also rose from the dead that day. Sorry, I had my phone on my blanket. I didn't mean to do that. Also, the accounts of the accounts of who was at the tomb are completely different. Mary Magdalene was one of them, but there were also different people in each of the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Again, those huge contradictions. And apologetics will like to say, well, those were different eyewitnesses. These are different versions of what they saw. And I'm like, okay, if you are saying one thing and another person says another thing, it's just like in a telephone. You aren't really being concise with your own story. If something is supposed to be concise, have it straightforward and actually work together to actually make the story true. Because these stories were made years after each other. And even if they were able to get the copies of their own Gospels, they still did a shitty job at it.
Yep, that's for fucking sure. Hey, you guys, I have a real quick housekeeping thing I need to do. I forget sometimes I want to do this. If you are not a part of my Discord, it's a quiet Discord, not going to lie. We hang out, we do some stuff, we have some fun. Tomorrow we're going to play D&D, but it is quiet most of the time. But if you want to come in, it is a nice place. There's a lot about my Auntie Sermons are there, and a lot of great people are in there. And there is a place on my Discord. The link is in my bio. There's a place called Cup of Kindness, and our good friend Emmy needs help right now. So if you can, go check out the channel Cup of Kindness in my Discord. Also, Ace put up one for Cameron, but I don't know if Cameron met her goal yet or not, but Cameron is a single mom whose house burned down and she is needing some help. And then On a Mission is also needing a little help. He has severe diabetes and is going through some health issues. So if you're wanting to help people who are a part of the community, check out the channel Cup of Kindness in my Discord. Cameron
shut down her her thing. She got enough money. Yeah, so it's just all of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome. There are other people then that you could help if you want to help somebody. We have amazing people in the community, and you know, you're not tithing anymore, right? So maybe go, you know, buy somebody a cup of coffee, send them $5 or something, and do whatever you can to help them out. Bye, Kimberly. Have a great day. Thank you so much for your moderation and all your help today. Tulip, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate you. I'm going to be live for about another 10 or 15 minutes here, but if you have not subscribed to me, what are you doing? Like, subscribe, like, follow, you know, do all those good things. And if you haven't, please go check out my podcast, Auntie Sermons. The paperback for the Women of Genesis should be out soon. I self-published, so I've got to do some work on that with my editing software and get that all ready. But once I get that done, I'll get that out for you. I will be offering certain things for PDF only for people that are subscribers to TikTok. And once subscribing is available over on YouTube, and for subscribers of my Discord. So check out that if you want. Anyway, Emmy is 40% to her goal. That is really good to hear. So if you can, though, if you got $5 or so, check out the Cup of Kindness channel in my Discord.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
how are
goodness.
you doing, Schley?
Everybody left. What happened? I'm good.
No, it's me and you.
Yay. I'm good. I am one of my littles is going to have a sleepover tonight, and she's very, very excited. So
Aww.
I know.
I always did the sleepovers at my house because I didn't want them to do sleepovers.
We don't do sleepovers. This is like a one, like it's like a special one-off thing, and it's with family, so it's not a stranger.
There you go.
So it took some convincing, but
I got convinced a couple of times to allow them to do sleepovers, and one of the times that just went so wrong, we never did it again.
Yeah.
Because I always gave my children an out. I always gave them an out. I said, listen, in your life, sometimes as you're growing up, people are going to ask you to do things that you're not going to feel comfortable with. You're not going to, but you're also going to not know how to get yourself out of that situation. And you're out. You can say I've said things that I haven't said to get you out of whatever situation. You could go, I can't. My mom won't let me. You know what I mean? Just because you don't feel comfortable.
Dang.
I do not care. You can say, oh my God, my mom texted me.
My
She
mom's
is coming to pick me up right
rude.
now.
Yeah.
You know, anything you want. I said, you know, you get drunk at a party, you need me to come pick you up, you're afraid to tell me, fucking just tell me. I will come pick you up. I will say nothing in the car ride home. We probably will have to talk about it later, but I promise you, I just want to get you home safely.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff. That's all, you know what I mean? Like, you got to have those conversations with your kids, right? So I didn't like those sleepovers because one time she called me and she said, she's having a bunch of boys over and I don't feel comfortable and I want, and her mom's here with her boyfriend. And I was like, oh, fuck no. Fuck no. What is a single woman bringing her boyfriend around other people's children? No.
But I love that she called you and she knew she could.
Yeah.
I just love that.
And so I came and got her and I pretended that I had a family emergency and she needed to come home. So I look like the bad guy.
Oh no, we have to go out of town right now.
Right now. Right. It's the weirdest thing. It's 10 o'clock at night and I need to leave.
It's gotta happen.
Gotta happen. Call me weird. I don't care. Thank you. Thank you. But, yeah. I don't have really anything else exciting to talk about. I am still working on my witch Bibles, Why I Tossed Christianity Handless, and it's a Bible that will have a bunch of verses highlighted and have tabs on them for the atrocities that the Bible teaches towards women. I had to get my kids at 11 p.m. because the mom wanted them to all take.
What?
What the fuck? No.
See, yeah, this is why we can't go to each other's houses. No, no, no.
And this is why, if I was a mom now, absolutely zero. And you know, people always talk about how I was weirdly protective of my children. And my children joke about it with me now a lot. They tease me a lot. Okay. But, you know, I'm sorry. Obviously I was right. You shouldn't sleep over at people's houses.
No, you shouldn't.
Obviously I was right.
I was spanked by my best friend's dad. Yeah.
Oh, that happened to me regularly
Yeah.
because I grew up in the 70s. So everybody hit each other's kids. in
And
the
I had a
70s.
principal that spanked. Do you remember that when they had elementary schools, you could get paddled in the principal's office? Yeah, I
my brother
talked a
did.
lot, so I was constantly getting paddled. Might explain
I
a few
talked all the
things.
time. Schley, I talked all the time and I never got paddled. I got moved. Okay. My best friend's name was
this
Carol.
is maybe, I don't know, sorry, trigger warning. I didn't mean to take it.
No, that's okay. My best friend's name was Carol. And whenever we would get in class together, she would fucking not leave me alone. And then I would get in
Carol.
trouble every fucking time. She was my best friend and she passed away, so I love her. And she was always my best friend and I always will love her. But she always did that to me because she was one of those best friends, right? Where she was like, I'm going to fucking pick on you. You're going to get in trouble and you're going to get moved, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so she fucking did it every time. But I never got paddled. But my brother, he used to get said, I don't know what he did wrong either, but he was a pretty bad person, so I can only imagine, okay? He would get sent down to the principal's office, and they would take out a board that had holes drilled in it because when you drill holes into a paddle, as you're swinging it, the air can flow right through it, allowing you to have no pressure so it can swing harder, basically.
Yeah,
And you
it
can hit them harder.
freaking
okay?
hurt. It freaking
Yeah.
hurt.
They would make him bend over and hold his ankles, and when he got swatted, he'd have to say, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?"
Oh my gosh. That's
In high
so
school.
awful. That makes me so mad. Ooh. I would want to find that fucker and yeah, I would want to hunt that person down as an adult. I really would. Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
was pretty
gross.
bad. We grew up in the 70s, and neighbors were allowed to spank us. I broke my arm when I was 5 years old, and it was so many years later before it dawned on me the circumstances in which that whole situation happened. They left me alone with my sister, who was 9.
Yeah.
That's who I was babysat by. And they said at the time, well, I left you alone with a 9-year-old because I told all the neighbors, so they knew you guys were alone.
Oh, whatever. Nah.
Okay, but that's even creepier because our
Yeah.
next door neighbor was a P3DO.
Oh, shit.
You
No.
weirdo. So you left us alone. You told the P3DO we were left alone. Anyway, so when I fell and I broke my arm, my sister called the neighbors because my parents were out for the evening. And they came and took me to the hospital. Luckily, they actually... Why is my computer started doing something? You know, luckily they weren't the P3DOs that she called. Luckily she didn't call the P3DO neighbor. She called the good neighbors. And they took me to a hospital. But I was like, what the fuck? And then but to people back then, it was like our house was unlocked. The doors were open. If the neighbors wanted to come by and check on you, they could.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember we were just neighborhood rugrats. Like, I would run from house to house, and I don't even know half of the people that I've been in their house before, played in their backyard, swam in their swimming pool, that I don't know who they are. That's just
Yeah,
how it
that's
was.
kind of how we were.
But that's why so
That's
many
how we were.
shady things and awful things were happening, because people just weren't thinking. They were way too trusting. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had to be home when the street lights came on too, or by the time the street lights came on too. And when your parents wanted you, they just walked outside and said your name in the loudest voice possible. Like they just went, Crystal, you know, and hollered your name across the whole neighborhood. And immediately everybody would be like, oh, you're in trouble.
What did you do?
I was always in trouble.
Oh, yeah, me too. I was always in trouble.
I always did something wrong, you know. Could never get anything. I remember one time. Just goofy stories from Crystal's fucking childhood. Okay, I remember one time we got called home. My parents were weird. This is all I can tell you. Okay, and they pull us into the backyard, and our whole family's out there. And my dad's got the toilet out there, and I'm like.
Like the house toilet? Like he pulled it outside?
He's just got the whole fucking toilet out in the backyard.
All right.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we having a family fucking meeting? And I just want you to know, I'm very young at this time too. So I probably wasn't saying the F word in my head, but the equivalent of for like a 7-year-old, okay? So I'm like, what are we doing back here? And then he goes, well, somebody threw something down the toilet again, and it backed up the plumbing. And I'm just sick of this. I just want you kids to know you can't be doing this. And we know who did it. And I'm like, oh, I wonder which one of them did this. Like, who's going to get in trouble today? And they were like, Crystal, it was you. And I'm like, wait, what? I didn't do shit. I wasn't even here. You had to call me home. What are you fucking talking about? He said you ate chips and threw the bag in the toilet, and there was no defense. Like I was not allowed to defend myself. It was as though I am speaking facts to you, whether this is true or not. This conviction is now upon you, ma'am. You are not getting any defense in this. Now, let me explain to you why it is absolutely impossible that I could have eaten those chips and thrown that bag in the toilet. Because the chips were on top of the refrigerator, and I was 7. I couldn't reach them.
Oh, little Crystal.
But my brother, who was 6 years older than me, being 13, could definitely reach those chips. And he let me take the fall on that day, and there became the villain arc for Crystal. So that's where Dark Crystal arose from, was this toilet bag.
The origination story.
It's the origin story of Dark
in
Crystal.
the backyard. What a start. What a start. Holy cow.
That is where it all stems from. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the live. Thank you for joining me for this special Friday live. I will be back Monday with you. We're going to do Leia and Rachel on Monday. You'll get to hear it live. On Wednesday, I'll drop that episode for you. Don't forget, later on today or tonight, I'll be dropping a special bonus episode of Cain's wife, the woman God didn't bother to name. So make sure you check that out as well. Auntie Sermons everywhere you used to listen to sermons. Bye, friends. Have a wonderful day. Oh, who can we raid? Who's raidable right now?
Is Ace live? Let's see. Ace is live, I think.
Okay, let's head over to Ace. I love you all. I'll see you around.
Get one free. So we're pulling 6. And I know you sent me a message, so we can just totally do it over messages too. 1, that one's cute. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Good luck. Oh, that one doesn't count. Didn't write on that one. A couple of them must have stuck together when I wrote on them. So you're getting a bonus little extra sticker, okay? Girl, send help. Number 1 is a bag. Number 2, of course, is 2 bags, because why wouldn't it be? 3, bag. 4, room spray. 5, room spray. 6, bag. You did not get a lotion, but would you like to trade either 2 bags or one of your room sprays for a lotion? I know how much you love them. I know how much you love them. Actually, you can keep your 2 bags. Do you want to trade one of your room sprays for a lotion? If you guys don't know, Michelle is like literally obsessed with the lotions. We'll do, okay, so we'll do one of the room sprays. I'll do a lotion for you. My room, my rules. And then you have 2, 3, 4, 5 bags. 1 more room spray. Do you want to take that or a bag? You guys are clearing me out of lotions this week. That's the next thing that's going to be empty. Good golly. Bag. So that is 2, 3, 4, wait. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags and a lotion. What kind of lotion would you like, Miss Michelle? Royal Rouge, Endless Summer, Vanilla Rose, Stress Relief, Cool Blue, Almond